Well, hello everybody. It's great to see everybody in the chat. I already got Culture Casino in here. Hail to you. Hail to Dollified, my colleague from Bounding. Don, great to see you. Parrothead, of course, man. Parrothead, what is up? I see Sith Lord 3827. Great to see you, buddy, my homie, all the time. Great dude, great mod, and I'm very happy to see some familiar faces. So we got a full panel tonight. Tom from Midnight's Edge has popped in for a little bit. He's going to hang out with us. Of course, I've got, everybody that you know, a cast of thousands. We've got Steven. We've got Raquel. We've got Script Doctor. We've got Bear Nerd Front.
Hey.
So we've got everybody's favorites tonight. Brian, I don't think couldn't make it, but you know,
he might be heading back to his place in Oklahoma to get his gear.
Yeah, that's what I think's going on.
Oklahoma? Do I get to run around the room banging a pot?
No. Yeah, I know, right?
I used to do that at New Year's when I was 5 years old.
Welcome on in, Lady Miss. Great to see you. Random Brad Creates. Great to see you. And of course, we got Speaker for the Dead. Brian's in the chat.
Hail, Brian.
Hail, Brian.
There we go.
Hey, Brian.
But yeah, I think Brian is going back to get his gear. So hopefully he'll be back next week. But yeah, I wanted to kind of go and since it's the top of the show, we obviously want to highlight anytime we've got accomplishments by the great people involved with our show, especially one of our own, author Stephen Welton. You know, he's done an excellent job on the Fandom Menace volumes, and I want to say congratulations, Stephen, because it's really good, and thank you for opening this back up so people can actually, other people can actually get the book. So feel free to drop that link in the chat, Stephen.
Oh, I got that link covered.
Yeah.
You can go over there and buy this book and show some support. The Phantom Menace Volume 1.
Yeah.
So, Stephen, how can your hardcore fans obtain a copy with your John Hancock?
Well, you can obtain my cock through the $30 perk.
I got it.
Only $30.
Only $30.
Wow.
I'm a cheap whore. You can go to, I just reopened the Indiegogo for the Phantom Menace Volume 1 first edition. I'm doing this because I've got a lot of requests to get this book. People who missed the first Indiegogo. I only ran it for 30 days. At the time, I had this really tight, I love that word, tight window. Get the book out. Unfortunately, I ran into one or two legal issues, had to take care of that first. But the book is now coming out to backers. I'm proud to announce I'm now in fulfillment. And I'd like to thank everybody in the Fandom Menace, outside in any of the fandoms, really, and the people in CG who helped to back this project. So it is back in demand. You can go check this out. You can buy the book itself for $25. You can buy it with a signature for $30. This will be the last time that the first edition will be available. After this, you will be able to get the Phantom Menace Volume 1 in subsequent editions, but they will be coming out with the Indiegogos for Volume 2. And Volume 2 should be starting in about a month and a half, about 6 weeks from now. I got wonderful people with me working on this book. It's going to be called Rise of the Rebellion. It is the beginning of the Phantom Menace. Going to have a foreword by John Talks, chapters by Jesse Milestone and Lord Doomcock. There's going to be some commentary in there by Stephanie Janisic, Smuggler's Cantina, and Kiri Morning. It's also going to have chapters highlighting Mecharandum 42 and the Gospel According to Mark with a C. And so I'm really looking forward to putting out Volume 2. But thank you to everybody for your kind words, your support, sharing out the link, getting the word out there. I couldn't have done this without you. I am the Phantom Menace historian, your historian, born in the chats with my brothers and sisters on the High Council. And I appreciate you. I appreciate everybody, man. Thank you very much for all your support.
And keep in mind, silicon replicas are extra.
Listen, Brian, I'll sign yours special like.
Oh, please don't. I instantly think about 50 Shades of Grey. Apparently, they blacklighted and did some samples of 50 Shades of Grey at the Amsterdam library, and boy, it came back with more cum shots than the seats in a strip club.
I'm in the right place tonight.
Oh, yes, you are, Tom.
Let's make sure that we send Brian a book that won't glow in the dark.
We're gonna give Brian the mushroom stamp edition.
Do they come with black lights? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, listen. When Script Doctor first came around, he was so uptight. He wasn't uptight, but he was very careful about what he said.
He was very reserved.
He's very reserved. Same thing with Raquel. I don't know what it is about their show, but we ruined people. Sorry.
You have ruined me, but it's okay. I was drawn in willingly.
I love Raquel like this. I mean, it's so amazing. She's just so much fun, and then that's why
you could imagine my shock the first time I heard her crack a really awesome joke. I was like, "Wow!"
Yeah.
Rob, real quick before we take this down, I'd also like to give a shout out to the Red Gaze, who came out with a book called Sunsworn. As Indiegogo just closed, but he's still in demand. And thanks to people like Tom at Midnight's Edge After Dark and Ethan Van Sciver, the Red Gaze got his Indiegogo up over 11,000 last night. And so I just want to send out congratulations to him. And if you're interested in the science fiction fantasy, the Red Gaze Sunsworn is still available on Indiegogo. It's still in demand. And, that was his answer to The Last Jedi, was taking these legends that he had created over the last 20 years, these stories, these myths that he had been churning in his head and writing out, and put them together for us in a book called Sunsworn. So go check that out if you're into sci-fi fantasy, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, Sunsworn is really good, and there's a lot of good creative projects going on around the fandom right now, guys. So this is a good time for people that want actual good entertainment that focuses on you. This is a good time for you to be a fan. As much as we go on these streams and we bitch about pop culture, we talk about the things that are wrong with things right now. There is entertainment out there that still remembers and honors who you are and what you like. And so, keep that in mind as you hear about some of these projects around, because there's a lot of good projects circulating, and Sunsworn is definitely one of those. And, I want to give a shout out to Sith Lord 3827. He recently hit 100 subscribers.
Beautiful.
Our mod JJ. So make sure, he said he's going to put together a future live stream on his channel. So check that out. JJ, feel free to link your channel in the chat, please. And, of course, we need to sort of get into something.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I want to get into something really quick before we begin. And, Tom especially, he and I both grew up on old Battlestar, and a number of us also grew up on original Battlestar. And I wanted to kind of get his take with some of the differences, because there's a definite shift in tone. And I want to ask Tom from the perspective now, do you think that at the beginning when the new show came out that it caused a rift in the Battlestar fandom at first?
Tom has left the building, but only temporarily.
Oh, is he AFK?
Yeah, he just posted to the private chat. He said BRB. So he's probably gone to the little boy's room. Perhaps it was because we made him feel erotic when we talked about
So we know that he's having bacon-wrapped bacon snack.
Yes.
Oh, man.
He literally typed it about 10 seconds before Drew started talking about Tom.
Oh, man.
So,
Well, it is a pants-off stream, so.
Well, the thing is, the reason I kind of wanted to bring up this topic is I know down the road we were discussing, and by the way, this is an episode you guys aren't going to want to miss. At some point, we're going to do a sort of like debate stream about the old versus new.
I beg your pardon, Drew. I just wanted to let you know that Tom has returned to the building feeling a lot less amorous and more relieved than before.
Oh, okay.
I went to get some chicken, yo.
You want to choke your chicken?
Is that what you call it?
I guess that's what it's called.
All I can think about is the friggin' oh god, the thing from Chick-fil-A. Eat
Hey
more
Tom,
chicken.
did we tell you that there's a joke minefield laying around here all over the place?
Oh,
That's foul, man. That's foul.
But what I
All right, so Parrot Head, could I please get you to put up to the chat, beware the chicken, hashtag beware the chicken. That would be really great.
Parrothead Forever will show, dude. I'll be in just a random chat. I'll be just watching somebody's random live stream, and I'll say something. Parrothead will immediately come out afterward. Hashtag beware the Drew.
Beware the Drew.
That's stuck, man. That's stuck. but the thing I was talking about, Tom, because I didn't realize you were AFK, because silly me, I didn't check the private chat. But
So silly.
But the thing I had asked was, what do you think when this new show debuted? Do you think it caused a rift in the Battlestar Galactica fandom as a whole? Because up until then, we had the classic with Lorne Green and all that, and that's what people knew in their minds as Battlestar. And then this came on the scene, and with a completely big shift in tone, and I think it shell shocked people.
I love you, chat. Now, I have to ask you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Drew. Now, wherever Tom goes, could we please make sure that Parrot Head, Sith Lord, David Porg, Brian, make sure to go on your jobs. You know what comes next. Let's surprise Tom with the warm feeling of the Pegasus Actual podcast wherever he goes on the internet.
Hell, that's not nearly as bad as some of the stuff I've been hashtagged or called. So.
But what was your 2 cents on that, Tom? Do you think it caused?
I think there was a little resistance from my recollection at the time, but it was kind of similar to TNG, where it took people a little time to kind of warm up to it. I don't think there's as much revisionist history going back and looking over it, because I think it was fairly well received overall. I remember it was a big deal it was on the Sci-Fi Channel, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
I was gonna say, I remember it being a big deal at the time it came out.
They were playing it on that Sci-Fi Friday, so it was right there. You had Firefly, then you had an episode of SG-1, then you had an episode of Atlantis, and then you had Battlestar as the icing on the cake, and that was always on Fridays. And I know, like, at first, it seemed like it ruffled a lot of feathers. People couldn't get around the fact that they had actually, gender flipped. I mean, this was one of the first big gender flip controversies that we saw in entertainment, when they casted Boomer as a female, who in the old show was played by Herbert Jefferson Jr., and here's a black male, and, Boomer is now all of a sudden an Asian woman. And then you've got Starbuck, who, was classically male, more or less kind of the Kirk type of archetype. And now he is a she that is the Kirk archetype, but a female. It's like, people that really put people off at the start, because people have a natural, I think, resistance to change. But I think when folks started watching it and saw that there was a quality and depth of storytelling, I think that, like you alluded to, it's sort of tempered down. But there are still some, I know to this day, like Itchy Bacchus, one of them, there's still some TOS fans that are hardcore TOS. If you bring up 2004 BSG, they're like, oh, no. There's only one Battlestar.
I mean, I can see that.
I guess I guess the comparison you had with TNG works pretty good too.
When I was looking into this subject, I worked a lot with Ichi Baka when I first started doing the Phantom Menace Volume 1, because Ichi is an invaluable resource to the community. He really does bring
great
together
journalism, yeah.
great journalism, a lot of information brought his way. You could tell from his articles that he does have a conservative leaning slant, but everybody has their own opinion, especially on a blog, or a direction that they come from as far as information. But some of the information that he gave me concerning Battlestar was from his perspective as an older fan of the original, and he did not take well to many of the changes that were done in the newer version. And along with many other friends of his, I mean, Drew, you've stated several times you ran a blog site while it was running, so you've seen all the contention and all the
absolutely
things. And Itchy told me, he gave me the option to reach out to a few people, and then even warned me. He said, to this day, there are people in the Battlestar community who still have strong feelings about the difference between the original and the newer one. And he also said, if he gave me these contacts, he said, if you decide to go and contact these people, tread lightly, because that issue broke a lot of friendships up. So
what?
Yeah, that's what he said.
Like, how valuable is the friendship if you're willing to go that far? I mean, oh my God, everybody, get your fifis in order. Slap yourself in the face.
Well, Raquel, you're talking about its time and period. One of the reasons that I have this in the fandom, that I have that subject in Volume 1, is because the media, like they did with Ahmed Best and Jake Lloyd, the media got involved and created contention and exasperated different arguments that are being brought up. For instance, the Legacy fandom did not like that there was a gender swap with Starbuck. Mm-hmm. And so the media came in and said, oh, these toxic fans, these sexist fans, and ran with that narrative and really built up a lot of the frustration, created contention. And so, that's an example of the media getting involved in a fandom and then creating problems. You had people that were that had collected Battlestar memorabilia since the first show had come out, sold their entire collections. It was a big event within that fandom that took place.
Yeah, back then, because online communities were just starting to be a thing. So back then, the big sort of thing, you still had magazines coming out on the racks in the store. So when new Battlestar was
what?
Well, you still you still had magazines.
What are these?
I know, right?
Magazines. Speak of. They sound enriching and enchanting.
Well, yeah, there used to be
They were on a shelf. You had to go to a store to buy them.
Exactly.
Yes, and nobody was practicing social distancing. It was a dystopia.
Wait! I vaguely remember my mother getting something in the mail, and she called it a magazine. No, I'm kidding. Obviously, guys.
But back then, the media essentially was doing what sites like Vice and Fox and CBR do now, which was pit the fans immediately against each other. It became an overblown sort of the old toxic fans. They came with that narrative.
Yeah, but isn't to some extent, isn't some of that aren't some of those accusations warranted? Because there comes a time where you sort of have to grow with your fandom. And this is going to sound very hypocritical coming from me, because I'm a huge fan of TOS, and Star Trek ended in 2005 for me, in a decrescendo. And so, I get it. But at the same time, I don't believe that the current fandom in Star Trek gave so much respect like the BSG did. I mean, even in the name, reimagining, and just the whole way that it was handled, it came from a place of respect. Like, let's play this story out in many scenarios. And in that way, they're sort of taking it to what could happen on the stage with a play. Shakespeare had female and male. Well, in the beginning, it was all male, and it was quite controversial for a woman to play a man. So, I think that to a certain extent, I understand, because I don't want anybody messing with my Star Trek. But at the same time, if you're going to mess with my Star Trek and you're going to come at it from an angle where you have so much respect that you're willing to, express it in the name and express it in the gestures towards the fans, I think that warms them up, especially once you start bringing in incredible writing. I mean, a lot of this series is it's highly intellectual. I wouldn't see any other television series being this cerebral since Gene Roddenberry's original Star Trek, which
go ahead.
The biggest, the piece of the puzzle here that may be missing, and I understand what you're saying, Raquel, is that up until the events of 9/11, matter of fact, 9/11 itself pretty much killed what the fans have been asking for more than a decade. This fervent, loyal fan base.
Yes.
They were going to get a reboot, and they were going to get Apollo back. They were going to get,
and everybody was excited about it.
Everybody was going to come back and play their former roles and just be like, they were going to erase the fact that they had reached Earth, and they were going to move forward with Apollo being the commander.
Yeah.
Their sets were being drawn up. People were getting ready to put this into production, and then 9/11 happened. There was a lot of shifts in entertainment, and the project fell apart. And so the next thing that the fandom got was this, and with a lot of gender swapping, a lot of characters got axed out, race swapping, for instance, with Ty. But
the writing quality is just so good.
Oh, right. I agree.
They came at it genuflecting in such an exaggerated pose to say a reimagining. It's just, for this one, that's when I hit my outrage button. I hit pause on it, and I say, okay, well, this is cerebral. This is well written. I'm really enjoying this. They're not claiming that it is Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah,
of course, I'm of the age where I watched the original Battlestar Galactica, right? If my mom let me stay up that late.
Right, and even within the story itself, they said this has happened before and will happen again. Like, it was very, very plain that this was just a reimagining. It was another timeline or a continuation of a timeline of events. So it didn't erase what had happened before. It was just another. But when you have a fan base that like the Snyder Cut movement that just happened, when you have a fan base that's very fervent and has been fighting for years to get something, and then you're on the precipice of getting it, then you don't. And then the show is completely changed, and you have a media that is very disingenuous, that wants to inflame any kind of fan outrage and then label the fandom as toxic. Then you create this soup where, you had friendships that were destroyed, people that just walked away from the franchise altogether that had been supporting it. And unfortunately, what suffered in that was this wonderfully written, intellectual, just wonderful show. I love Battle.
It was just a real good example of what Access Media was starting to do back then.
Well, they had just done it to Ahmed Best and Jake Lloyd with The Phantom Menace. They had just done it, and they continue that narrative to this day. I think there was an article that just came out.
Access Media has always been Access Media.
Yeah, there was an article that just came out. I think Itchy wrote something on it. I forget who shared it originally, but Itchy just wrote a blog post about it. There's still Access Media is still trying to say that the fans bullied Ahmed Best. And Ahmed has said several times it was the media that did that.
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember, back then I really wasn't a YouTuber, and I was looking in through different eyes. And even then, I seen that the Access Media was Chauncey.
Yeah, I mean, it was very slanted even back then, because it's almost like they enjoy manufacturing contention.
Yeah.
And
if it bleeds, it leads, and it's all amplified by the fact that now they you can see and hear what the extremities think and feel, and it's magnified because of social media. So yeah, everyone's going to be pushed to the absolute peripheries of their political partisanship, and it turns into a nightmare. That being said, I just don't ever think that I could ever be emotional enough where I would want to cut off my friend. I regularly disagree with many of the things that I see on Twitter, especially my close friends saying. I just don't agree with them at all. Their politics are wacky to me, but they're still a person. Their political leaning is 0.1% of their personality.
Right.
So,
yeah, exactly. And the fascinating thing was, I mean, there were a lot of hardline TOS fans back then. I know that,
like me.
I know that on my personal site, when we had the Pegasus actual site at the height of the show, there were a lot of TOS people that joined, because we freely accepted all Battlestar fans. There was never a thing where I said, well, it's only people that like the new show can join our message boards.
You weren't gatekeeping, True?
No, I freely accepted all fans. And, there were a lot of hardliners that joined, and it was contentious even in my own forums at the time. And then finally it calmed down, because people started to actually, interact and talk about the episodes and have watch parties together and, and organized in the forums, and these have been people that were arguing, and they're like, well, hey, I can find some common ground on this. I can see where the nod is to TOS from that episode. And that. And,
they were there. They were all over the place.
There were a lot of people that warmed up to it, but at the beginning, I mean, it was hugely
but don't
combative.
you all find that when we had forums where you would go in and you would be a part of a community, that it sort of kept everybody behaving in a relatively rational manner, and if anyone got out of well, it was certainly like that for original gangster Trekkie people like me. Where I sort of witnessed the cart go off the rails is on Twitter, when all of a sudden trolls and bots could come in and have this hit and run enterprise where they would blow up this one person for just saying that they didn't like the new Star Trek, and they would and it would turn into like some sort of histrionic display of mental illness. It was just wacky to watch. I mean,
I've seen the same kind of crap in a forums, but I guess it all depends on where you're at and if the mods are active.
Yeah, like I got online in 1995, and back then we didn't take any SHIT. We just said, sorry guys, like if you can't talk like an adult, you got to go. And so that's what happened. We usually got rid of people who couldn't be civil. But Twitter, I find with all of my friends that are public, of course I'm on private, but it's so hit and run. It's ridiculous. Somebody could just come up behind you and just flame throw everything you've said, take it out of context, go batshit crazy on you, and then 1,000 of the minions and bots show up to reinforce what they're saying. When meanwhile they represent 0.01% of the fandom.
This is great. Toxic Man Flu said, I have been on board since the late 80s, and it's been nothing but dick jokes for me ever since.
TMF, welcome, baby. So happy you are here. Hello to the chat, everybody. It's so good for you to be here. Sorry that we're going off on a tangent. We love you guys.
No, this is a good thing to talk about, because, like I said, eventually we're gonna have that stream down the road, and I'm gonna actually get some TOS hardliners. I know Itchy is a TOS hardliner, so I want to get him on, get his take. Odyssey is more of a original series guy, but Odyssey's more like a little bit of the open-minded. He can handle watching both shows and take them for what they are, but he still prefers TOS, because I know Odyssey's feelings, and I talk.
If we have Itchy on, it's gonna be funny as shit. Itchy was. I quoted him in the book. It said Bonnie Hammer was the Kathleen Kennedy of 2005.
No, she was. There were a lot of projects she was involved in with NBC where she like eerily sort of set.
You mean no? That's bullshit. There was no women in Hollywood before 2015. You're so full of shit.
Preach.
We got our first Boxy theory, by the way. Odyssey says
Desi-Lou. Who's at the head of Desi-Lou for TOS?
No, that was all Lucy's husband. That wasn't her.
Oh yeah,
Lucy had nothing to do with any of that stuff. She was just there to look good.
Love it.
All right.
Lucy, you got some splaining to do. Why do I have a Captain Kirk sitting outside? Oh, Ricky, I thought it'd be a good idea. Is somebody going to let me in? It's fucking cold out here. And there's a guy standing next to me with pointy ears. I don't trust him.
Oh, God.
Ethan, can you please deliver some DJ Odyssey Boxy theory?
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Go ahead, Steven.
Boxy Theory by DJ Odyssey. He went into hiding thinking it was going to be farm for food. He instead ended up in the mysterious luggage of Rosalind, who was into hiding.
She was into hiding, or she went into hiding? Because if she was into hiding, entirely different fetish.
Oh, man.
Okay.
I gotta admit, my brain went running wild.
Yeah, of course.
Well, should we get started? We're at 31 minutes.
Yeah. Just a quick
Bonfire of the Vanities. 32 minutes in, haven't even started the show.
just to quickly close on this topic. Yes, down the road we will be having that stream, so keep an eye out for it, guys. That will be a fun debate and discussion. And like I said, we're putting that together. It's going to be a future show, so we'll let you know ahead of time on Twitter when.
And if you have any friends that are like TOS purists with Battlestar, man, let them know, because we're going to be coming from all different angles when we have that discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be great. All right, let's.
Congratulations, Toxic Man Flu, on the grandbaby.
Oh yeah!
Oh,
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, Toxic! Yay!
Oh man, that's awesome.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
A new fan, a new member of the fandom is born.
Yeah,
You gotta call yourself Toxic.
Earmuffs when Raquel's on the panel, just earmuffs.
He's going to change it to TGF now. It's going to be Toxic Grand Flu instead of Toxic.
That's what I was gonna say. Yes.
Sorry, Tom.
No, Toxic Grandpappy Flu, but yours sounded better anyway.
Oh man, but yeah, congrats, buddy. Toxic, you're a dear friend, and I'm overjoyed for you to hear that news. So thank you, buddy. All right, let's.
What's for you, sir? Oh, I can't see me. Peace.
Yeah.
We don't know what that was. That was some sort of whack-a-mole congratulations. Sorry about that,
I'm
Tiana.
sorry.
Oh, here he is. He's back.
It was in the way. I don't use the camera door in Pegasus Actual, so I just didn't even bother with it. But I cover it up now because Raquel told me that people watch you do things on the internet, and I don't want anybody seeing me choking my chicken, and random on the internet.
There are actually hours and hours and hours of people's camera footage sold on the dark web to people with strange fetishes who like to watch you do things like, I don't know, pick your nose, get dressed, watch TV. Everyone in cute little internet land should have a Post-it note over every camera they have, unless, of course, they enjoy being sold in the dark web to strange people.
So, man, I feel like this is like indirectly targeting small Asian men that can be sold into slavery.
I'm thinking it's more like the only person on this panel that has anything to worry about is Raquel.
Oh, Tom, I love you. That's very sweet of you to say. But
I'm just being honest. I mean,
with his chigaro and that beard, I mean, come on. He could get ladies.
Steven and I have gotten enough enemies that we probably have people, but not for the good shit. Like,
Yeah.
So I went down this rabbit hole. Matter of fact, real quick, I wanted to segue into what Raquel was saying about trolls on the internet. I saw one comment left on somebody's Twitter thread. I have no idea. And I followed it down this rabbit hole of people who really hate me. Really hate me. And
don't do that to yourself, man.
Oh no, I was interested because
sometimes you can get a good laugh out of it. Yeah,
I've never seen that much vitriol, but yeah, I mean, but nobody's tagging me, nobody's coming at me, like, so I guess that's a good thing. But man, yeah, the internet.
As long as you can handle it in a healthy way and have a sense of humor about it, because yeah, like certain people I know, and I'm not going to talk about their names, but they're in the community, and you know, they get really distraught when they see that shit. It's like, you know, you're just letting those people live rent free in your head, right?
What? People don't like me? How shocking! Like, I care.
You know, we're it's funny because like from the standpoint of like the stuff we write for Bounding, if Don's still in here, I mean, you know, we get it like probably every other day with some article that we put out because people don't actually read the article.
Oh, I get here. You guys get called alt-right fucking all the time.
They read the fucking headline. They don't even bother reading the story, and they go into some tirade about how it's ridiculous clickbait, and it's like, well, you didn't read the story. You know, and I mean, you know, you point out their stupidity to them, and they're still doubling and tripling down on their point. I mean, it's freaking hilarious.
Yeah, but people are ridiculous because, I mean, you know, as a social scientist, I can tell you for sure that a very large portion, almost all of those people have not read anything.
Love Parrothead.
Oh, man, Parrothead.
I'm sorry.
Stephen was attacked by someone, and I read the tweets. And this fool actually said the following: Stephen Walton's book is potentially very dangerous.
Yeah.
Potentially very.
Oh my God! Is your book going to pick up a gun?
Oh Jesus! Yeah.
No, but it's not that, Tom. It's the fact that he hadn't even read the book, but he was on the megaphone of botdom, calling all of the other bots freaks and trolls to come and say that there was potential. Well, how about you read the book and decide whether or not it's good or bad?
Fear feeds fear.
Potential?
Yeah, the guy literally chronicled the beginnings of, you know, fan movements around you know, the sphere of the Phantom Menace and you know, Comicscape, things like that. All he's doing, he's literally chronicled history as far as that goes, and people are calling him out for that.
Well, now to be fair, the Chapter 5, The Last Jedi, The Final Straw, I'll go ham. I go ham. So for people who like Rian Johnson, who like The Last Jedi, and may, you know, enjoy those films, and you have every right to do so, to enjoy whoever you want, whatever media you wish to enjoy, you're gonna fucking hate Chapter 5. I put a mushroom stamp on that.
I'm like mega liberal on the left, and I believe that there is a Star Wars trilogy, and mind the article there, a single Star Wars trilogy. But you know what? I'm willing to read the book because I'm not a sniveling baby.
Yeah.
Hail, Raquel. I love you.
You're actually a very hot, smart woman.
I love you. You're very kind.
Well, you know, and it's nice to know that there's other lefties around the fandom. You know, like, you know,
there is. That's the point. You know,
there's a lot more than you'd think.
Yeah,
that's one problem where there is some TDS on both sides.
Yeah,
you know, we gotta really kind of slow it down in both speeds here, because you got those who everything he does is wrong, and you got those who everything he does is right. So sooner or later, both sides have got to learn to just drop the whole orange man thing. Period.
Yeah. I've always stayed just a little bit. I've never really moved. I've always been in the center. It feels like the whole thing just moved a little bit more left, and I'm just like, what the hell happened? An earthquake?
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same problem with like holding up George Lucas to this infallible thing, and I've seen this within the fandom too.
Well, sure, exactly.
As soon as you what's the word I'm looking for? Idolize, basically.
Yeah.
Idolatize, I think was more of the word I was looking for.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah.
Deify?
Idolatry.
Deify, thank you, Raquel.
Deify?
Yeah, deify. Once you start deifying these people, then it's a problem. I see the same thing with EBS all the time. Some people treat him like he's some, messiah. It's like he's just
Caesar.
a regular guy, just like everybody else. Yeah, he plays it up, but sure, once in a while he's going to say something stupid, or he's going to piss the wrong person off. But you know what? That's what people do.
Yep.
Before we go to DJ Odyssey's Boxy Theory, I would just like to address Brian the Gravedigger in the chat. Brian, one very late night, I had 2 glasses of wine, and somebody invited me to the channel to just chittity chat. And when I got on the channel, the way that you were talking to me and the way that that you were articulating yourself, that's actually, you are the reason why I decided to stay on the channel. So when Drew offered me to stay, I was like, okay, I will. I actually did it because of you. I thought that it was amazing to have another lefty who could sit in on these things and just talk about content and not politics.
Right.
So yeah, you were fab. And then of course I fell in love with the rest of the panel. But yeah, Brian, you're great. And there are a lot of women and a lot of sensible people who are not political like me that appreciate having you on this panel and appreciate everything you bring to these streams.
Hail to that.
Hail.
Be the grave digger, baby.
There's also some men out there, Brian, who might like your digging ability.
That's true. That's true. I should have said that, Stephen. You are correct.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Not
that.
be gender specific.
Give him a call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Boxy Theory. While into Rosalind's luggage, he happens to come across a rainbow unicorn outfit and start to do a pirate broadcast on Colonial Vid Systems.
Nice.
So
Boxy-
DJ Odyssey is Boxy. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yeah, to go back to what you were just saying, Drew, earlier about how, it's the cognitive dissonance. It doesn't matter if you're saying I'm reporting a rumor. It doesn't even matter if you've got freaking proof of something that's confirmed. If it doesn't go with their mind narrative, if it breaks up their little intricate little bubble, it really upsets their world. And I mean, it's a very, I hate to use the word because I have a son who's autistic, but it's a very autistic outlook on the life. And it is in a way, in a sense of just the definition of the word, because it's like you can sit there and preach all day long and go out there and be online and do all the crazy stuff you want, no matter what side you're on. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Everybody's a person. Everybody's flawed. Everybody has their problems. Everybody has, their good parts about them too. And it's the same thing with like people like George Lucas and people like EBS and even people like me or Steven or Drew or Raquel or Bear or even Script Doctor, who's not here right now because I think his electricity got knocked out again because the dumb shit went and yelled at the guys.
I think a neighbor came over and he had to go handle that shit.
Yeah. It's the neighbor again, in quotes. Yeah. The neighbor.
Oh, about Chickawawa?
Yeah.
Hashtag beware the neighbor. Hashtag SD.
Yeah. If you try to break
beware the neighbors. Please, everyone in the chat, go hit SD's.
Well, he's Canadian, so his neighbor lives like 12,000 miles away.
Yeah, but if you try to break into
so literally like half the country is his neighbor.
Oh man,
trying to break into SD's house, he's gonna have a field day. All right, and it's not gonna be something that intruder will enjoy.
Speaker for the Dead has a good comment right here, man. Why can't we all just get along? I want great entertainment. Leave the political crap out of it, or at least be smart about it. Don't bash people over the head with it. Yes. He's exactly correct on that. It's so many good discussions and healthy debates can be had about modern entertainment without this garbage, and that could actually be substantive debates, and they never happen because people can't get past the ignorance of wanting to be right. They want to throw their political narrative out there to say, oh, look, I'm right. I'm so much more virtuous.
It's vanity metrics. It's vanity metrics. A lot of this participation is just garnering as many likes for platitudes as possible. And what it's done is it's killed civic engagement, and it's made people feel as though they are actually doing something when in fact it's a political placebo. All it's doing is making people really angry with each other, dividing people into tribes, and making it impossible to have an adult conversation.
Right.
They're not helping.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And there are spaces out there where those
I'm just curious about something. Why do people use the word tribes?
Because
it kind of bothers me, because I'm part of a tribe, the Aztec tribe. I'm part of the Apache tribe. Yeah. I have other relations that are other nations. And,
but Bear,
there's got to be a better word than that.
It does come down to a form of tribalism, though.
I can tell you this, Bear, that at the university that I was attending, where they are very sensitive to First Nations, because of course everyone here should know that I'm Canadian, and Canada is very geared towards First Nations.
So you're the neighbor?
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You were having a very serious thing.
No, SD is Canadian as well. So, anyways, they call it digital tribes. So it has nothing to do with.
So it's sort of like what we would call cliques back in middle school, back in high school.
Yeah, probably mob mentality.
Only that it's on steroids. Hypersteroids.
Yeah, but I can definitely see how you would see that it would be attributed to First Peoples or to First Nations.
Right, because to me, tribe is a good thing.
Yeah, but I think the reason why they're using this word is because it seems to not make people feel so aggravated. So you wouldn't say to somebody, "Oh, you're dividing people into cliques," and so they make it seem like it's special. Whereas the tribalism sort of lends itself to people understanding that. People want to be insular. They become xenophobic. Women no longer like men. Men no longer like women. People divide up by race, by creed, by color, and they just decide that they're going to stay in their own camps. But if you feel offended by that term, I won't use it again. But I just wanted you to know where.
I didn't want to really use the word offended. It's just it was I was getting a sour chord from it, and I just wanted to make sure that I understood where you were coming from.
Yeah, I should say digital tribes, but for the record, I want you to know that I have First Nations in my family, and many of my nieces and nephews, as well as my stepsister. So if that makes you feel uncomfortable, I will cease to use the word. But just so you know, that's where it comes from, is this university courses in which people study digital tribalism. So
Wallace Black Elk used to say that when the government people used to come out, when he was basically teaching them how to make a sweat lodge and all that, he would always say that they weren't really educated like they said they were. They didn't have what he considered a real education, and knowing how to basically build a sweat lodge and stuff like that. Interesting guy, Wallace Black Elk. Wrote a very good book.
Beautiful. I'm going back. Thank you, Bear, for sharing that. Thank you, Raquel, for expanding on that. Drew, going back to what you were saying about there being no spaces, DJ Odyssey damn near every night has a live stream on his channel. And I've listened to quite a few of them. I've been invited on one or two of them, and I've been able to sit down with a group of people who are not Fandom Menace. People like Brian the Observer, very intellectual man. I love speaking to him. We definitely see things in two different sides on many issues, but we have those conversations just about the creativity, about the creative decisions and the storytelling itself. So those conversations are out there and they can be had.
Well, that's
my only issue with those conversations is that there is a root problem to the decision making behind the creative choices. And so, to my mind, as a your fandom menace historian, I'd rather talk about the people causing the problems or the root cause of those problems than just the symptoms themselves. But I can talk about the symptoms, the creative decisions all day long. I have no problem having those discussions.
Right, and I think you hit on the nail on the head right there, Stephen. His problem isn't just like Midnight's Edge, because we've been around since before Fantastic Four, and that's kind of what we started with, and then went from there to Ghostbusters and beyond. And I think the problem with it was inherently, because that was our whole thing, is we try to keep our politics away from everything, because we get called all kinds of names in the chat, but you'd be surprised. First of all, we got the guy who owns the channel is Norwegian, so he has no real tie to American politics. Secondly, the other 2.3 people that are involved with the channel, you'd probably be surprised of their politics, but you don't know because we don't go out there and advertise the shit. Right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, Tom. That's why, anytime I watch your content and, when I can make it into watch your live streams or I'm just lurking, many, many times, when you're doing a proper Midnight's Edge show, you guys have the, you guys are very, professional about it, down the middle about it.
Pants on.
And that's
a lie.
And I know, but I'm
no, I meant the pants thing.
But when I'm streaming with Andre, my pants are on. Okay.
But the thing is every time I try to be serious.
Why do you hang out with us?
No, I get what you're saying though, Drew. Like, yeah, I mean, we try to keep our politics out of it. Unfortunately, yeah, the it's the media and the movie makers and TV show makers themselves that are pushing their own personal politics. But yes, continue. My bad.
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say, the great thing about having, these type of streams and the people that have dedicated shows during the week, like us, like you, it's important that from time to time we come on and we have these discussions, because there's a lot of places that people can't find this discussion, or they think that they're not welcome to have this discussion, and it's completely like the opposite. You are welcome to have the discussion. It's just enough people aren't getting the message that, hey, there's a forum for you. Just come hang out here and check it out, and you can talk about the relevant things that are going on, and people don't feel like they can do that, and of course we're fighting a never-ending battle against the friggin' access media, like you pointed out.
I don't know how never-ending it's going to be when you have companies come out and support things like the Snyder Cut, AT&T coming out supporting fandoms, and then you get to see all of the backlash to that, calling it a bad press, setting a bad precedent, or catering to toxic fans from all of these shill and access media companies. People see through that. People, normies, are not stupid people. They see through that. So I don't know. I mean, as long as you have people within TFM, within and without TFM, all right, just fandom in general, out there speaking their mind and accruing audiences and creating momentum and getting their voices heard, I think we'll see people become less and less dependent on access and shill media.
Yeah, well,
it's already happening.
We're already seeing that, dude. The spike that we've gotten in readership on Bounding into Comics alone, and because John shows us the numbers after we do a Bounding live stream. We usually will talk about after the stream. We'll talk about the numbers that we're doing periodically and whatnot. And we can see the spike in readership that we're getting. And it's because people are coming to independent media instead of access media, because they want a no BS take. They want something that they want to read something coming from a journalist that's going to actually call out the problems in something that's not going to sit there and shill over a certain TV show or movie. They're going to give them, the real deal pros and cons about it. And
well, here's another great example of the fans at work. We're getting a Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yeah, right.
I just announced it.
How did the Pegasus actual podcast get turned into a Midnight Edge After Dark live stream?
Kind of turned into it.
I know.
I was not in controlling the conversation. That's the only difference.
55 minutes.
Well, but it's awesome.
Good conversation.
Because I like conversation like this, and it's a treat for me because I haven't had a chance to sit down and chit chat with Tom on my channel and actually talk to him. Period. The whole time I've been away with everything that's been going on, so it's nice to have him. I'm genuinely happy to talk to my buddy. So
Indeed.
it's good.
Tom,
Indeed.
Thank you for subbing to DJ, man. He's been in the Phantom Menace chat with me since the beginning, dude.
I swear I subbed to him before too,
well,
but
he was unsubbing people, guys, and make sure to check and make sure because
I may
Tom
not have, but
was unsubbed from
Drew. I do know I was. Yeah, I was unsubscribed from Drew. So
yeah, and that's a problem with YouTube guys. You guys already know in the chat because you're always surfing and going on different streams. You know that YouTube still has that problem where people are getting unsubbed from different channels. So just make sure, if you follow a certain YouTuber, make sure that you go and you catch the keep a track on what's going on with
the best way to do it is follow on either Facebook or YouTube or Twitter.
Yeah.
Just in case.
So I love this conversation. I love this group of people.
Yeah, we need to get into the episode. We're gonna have to do
we're gonna do a speed rant. Yeah,
so
it'll be a lightning round.
So
I apologize.
It's all good time.
So go ahead, by all means, Raquel, if you want to take it away.
All right. So if you're unfamiliar with the format of this show, we do little scene summaries, and this allows you to refresh your memory on the different scenes and what is happening without us breaking any copyright laws. So we're going to get into it, and then we'll talk about the scene afterward. So this episode is called The Farm, and it starts off in Cylon-occupied Caprica, the Resistance base camp. Starbuck wakes up in Samuel Anders' quarters, in his room, his little apartment on the compound.
Wow.
Yeah, in typical Starbuck fashion, she tries to quietly slip away from the scene of the crime, but Anders wakes up and confesses he's been observing her for an hour. He asks her what she'll do if she can't get back to her ship. They tease one another. Anders takes a serious and sincere tone when he admits that the Buccaneers are just reenacting stuff they saw in the movies, and that Kara's professional skills and training are needed by the Resistance. Kara responds with bitter fatalism, insofar as she believes fighting for Caprica is a lost cause. She tells Anders to go and hide, and when she makes it back to Galactica, she'll send a rescue party. They bicker, and then they wind up having another round of sex. Then we cut to the team.
Oh, I would too. I mean, good God.
Yeah, they had dessert. The team in the forest building a strategy for retaking the raider. They come under fire. Kara is shot, and as the team retreats into the brush, Kara falls to the forest floor. Then we cut to the opening credits. Thoughts?
Oh, my thoughts.
I'm hung up on the sex.
Yeah,
I want to talk about the thoughts and Anderson and Kara. That's what I want to talk about. No, you know what? We saw the mating ritual in the last episode. We knew it was coming. Mm-hmm. And then her just sneaking away. Kara should have been a man because look, she hit it and she was ready to quit it. And he woke up. And what I really enjoyed about that scene was when he was playing as though his emotions were hurt. And you see in Car Thrace, you see this character that does have emotions, but she hides them behind walls. And every now and again they break down, and so he actually gets her to break down and show her compassion a little bit, only to find out that he's goofing on her. Like this is a great couple. I'm going to love this couple in following episodes. I really like that relationship.
Well, there's such high amounts of energy between the two. It's almost like electricity.
Yeah, and he knows how to play.
He knows chemistry is palpable. It's very good, especially if we are to look at this from outside of the text, or inside the text, I should say, or outside. As actors, these people have great chemistry. My daughter is an actor, and I can't imagine ever having to make out or make sexy with someone who I didn't like. And it's very clear that these two have chemistry on and off the set. So it's a pleasure to watch.
So you've never tried to seduce an ex? Got it, Raquel. All right. So yes, I've lived a lowly life. Okay. Anybody else?
I tried, but fishnets didn't work for me.
Oh my gosh. So any comments? Any thoughts on this? I mean, this is we see Kara get shot, and there's this sort of suspension of reality as the clock basically stops, and we're not sure what's happened to her until she drops.
Well, this whole scene with Anders and Carr, Anders.
Hey, look who's back!
Power restored.
Hey, welcome back. Basically, Anders has a way of
me derailing the whole show.
He's a people person. He can really understand her and see her for who she really is. Mm-hmm. And I think he's really good at getting people to open up. And I think they make that connection because of that. And they're so similar. When they first met, they were at odds. You could pluck the strings and make music from it. Okay, it was so obvious between these two when they first met, the chemistry. So you could have made beautiful music with all those things going on between them.
SD, we just hit the credits. Actually, we've been Pegasus Actual After Dark for an hour. So you missed that.
Oh, okay. So we're still the star of the show. Great.
Yes, we
So
are.
much, man.
Yeah.
So much. So shall we
My bad.
continue?
No, Tom. You're good.
Oh, Tom,
it was a great conversation, man.
I don't even know how much you missed, Script Doctor. I went full Lucy and Ricky and everything.
Oh yeah, we got the Lucy and Ricky out of.
Don't forget the chicken.
The chicken too. Yeah.
Oh, he was gone before that?
No, I heard the chicken. We were just about to get into the story, and then the power
went
went
off
out.
the fucking rails.
We went off the rails, man. Yeah, there's gonna be a new hashtag in your chats when you guys do Midnight Dead shows. So,
Awesome. So I'm looking forward to rewatching the first hour.
yeah.
Believe it or not, an hour, SD.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because like as soon as it went out,
He's not surprised. See,
pitch black.
he fucking streams with me all the time. He knows this is nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I went outside, and my whole building was just freaking out at the guys because they.
I told him you
almost
pissed him
blew up the
off.
break.
Is why.
The power guy.
They turned off the power, and we watched them leave. We watched them drive away. Like, don't come back.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody remember what I said, especially Parrot Head. Parrot Head, where are you? Toxic Man Flu, where are you? Remember, hashtag beware the neighbor, please. And beware the chicken.
Beware the chicken.
That was actually a pretty good joke. You may want to go hear that one.
Well, like the cock next door type of thing.
No, should I just? I could just tell him quick.
Well, hashtag beware the Drew has been showing up in my chat for quite a while.
Oh
now.
yeah, it's been showing up in mine.
Our people, they're so awesome.
You're the best chat on YouTube.
We do.
A lot of good cross pollination.
No, I'll let him wait and watch it.
Yeah, that's
All right,
fine.
So let's move forward.
All right, we cut to the CIC. The old man returns to command. Believe it or not, he's standing up, guys. He's vertical. Everyone goes nuts, and they're chanting his name, they're cheering and clapping. He delivers a speech on how much they all mean to him, and he sends them back to their duties. Applause erupts again. Gaeta debriefs the old man on the quote-unquote fugitives. The old man orders the fleet into quarantine procedures to clear the deck and avoid riots, and orders the entire fleet searched. Ty executes the orders. So for me, we're seeing a seasoned commander avoiding the things that Pol Pot Ty did when he was in command. So power mechanism restored and in good order. He's saving lives and endangering no one.
The thing that
there was foreshadowing there too.
The thing that I noticed instantly was, they stepped right back into their roles like, a familiar pair of shoes, and I thought that was really, I thought that was really interesting. As soon as Adama came back into command, boom, everything hits smoothly. Everybody hits the ground running smoothly, and it's definitely a marked difference from what we've seen leading up to this. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just so awesome. And, in watching it, you had that moment as a fan where you wanted to actually stand up and applaud, like, yes, the old man is back, and I thought that was
standing ovation.
That was a great feel good moment.
Yeah.
I especially liked how Gaius Baltar was like remembering or reminding himself to applaud with the rest of the people, right?
I actually laughed when he did that because it was almost as if he could emit something like, "Oh God, I better clap really loud." He looks so uncomfortable.
Well, he needs to be a part of the power structure. He realizes he's hanging by a thread. He's been dabbling in basically betrayal since, day one of this whole thing. So, he's got to be on the right side. And I don't know. It's Baltar, he's a chicken shit.
SD, do you want to say anything about Baltar? Do you want to say anything about Gaius? Just something disparaging randomly.
This was the best episode he was ever in, because we only got those two scenes with him.
I love it. He always comes fully loaded. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, we're good.
All right, let's rock on.
There was because when Adama was being briefed and all that, Adama's opinion was that he thought that the president is more dangerous now.
Yeah,
that was the foreshadowing that I was talking about.
I think
I like the.
That's going to be a thing, I think.
And Brian, the Gravedigger, says, can we please add his comment because he is a part of our crew at 8:17 p.m. Can you please put that up? Yeah, command is part fear and part respect. And yeah, we definitely see that message, Brian. You're correct.
What were you going to say, Tom?
No, Steven was going to say something.
Okay.
You know what? I put this picture up because she mentioned Ty, and we didn't get much Ty in this episode, so this avatar is in honor of him, as it has been for the previous episodes, while Ty going crazy.
Yeah, no tie for assholes in this episode. Right?
Yeah, there was a few. It seems, no tie. But you had Adama. He's got to pick up the pieces for his commander now. He kind of has to back up what his commander, what Colonel Ty has done to an extent. I think his position from the beginning has been, from the beginning of this separation with Rosalind. Him believing she's overreaching powers and putting putting what's left of humanity at risk.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait to go more in depth on that. So for a further scene, because it starts going down the rabbit hole.
Well, to further add to Brian's quote here, the fear of this line is not much fear of reprisal or fear of punishment. It's fear of failure. Fear of failure to oneself and to the community and the responsibility that they have, and fear of losing the respect. So don't anyone who's just listening to this and maybe have more impressionable minds, don't think it means like fear like at the end of a barrel of a gun or fear of a tyranny. That's not usually what it means in the command structure from my understanding. It's just you have a responsibility, you have a duty, and you don't want to fail. And that's the type of fear that fuels it. You don't want to lose the respect that you earn, and you don't want to also lose yourself in the power that you earn as you progress up the chain of command.
Yeah,
and one thing that we just saw was that Ty was the person that did kind of lose himself into the power that he had, and even though he tried to reject it, it just he had that devil on his shoulder in his blonde hot wife telling him otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Space Karen, yeah.
Kim Jong Ellen.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh man.
Every show should have a script doctor, but you can't have ours. He's ours. Okay, I guess we're ready to go forward.
Okay, so then we cut to the fleet's meat locker. The president is holed up and bitching about the circumstances. Zarek tells Lee, his father, what? Drew has clam opener tattooed in 68 points.
Damn.
Well,
Wow.
I see my joke has been outdone.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
Oh man, they're really getting on the dick jokes in the chat.
Hey, do you guys remember the first time Parrot Head came to the show and joined in the chat? And his first comment to us was, "Y'all need Jesus."
Yes.
Yes.
No.
That's according to Christy's quote that he's parroting for us.
Oh man. I know, that's so good. So good.
I'm sorry, Raquel. Go ahead, sweetheart.
No, that's okay. I like it when you interrupt me like that. Okay, here we go. So we cut to the fleet's meat locker. The president is holed up and bitching about her circumstances. Zarek tells Lee his father has regained command. Lee is incredulous. He looks terrified and happy all at the same time. The president calls him, the old man a tough old bird.
Yeah.
Zarek asks Lee to publicly admonish his father to draw the fleet together under the president's power by condemning his father's actions. Lee delivers a powerful speech about how he has abandoned his father, but he stops the recording midway and says, "I'm sorry, I can't do this." The president breaks this tension because, of course, this seems to be their only way out by announcing that she is going to, quote, play the religious card, just in time for Parrot Head to go, "Y'all need Jesus."
No, he said we still need Jesus.
Yeah, I still need Jesus. Yeah. Any thoughts on this one?
Hi, Moira. Shout out to Moira.
Hey, Moira.
Hey.
I thought it was interesting because now you really start seeing the intricacies of how they're injecting religion into intertwining it with politics. In order for Rosalind to maintain a sort of political control. And I get that she thinks she's doing it for the greater good, but you can see how this is a real dark turn because of the fact that, once you start to intertwine that aspect, we know that usually nothing good comes from that. So,
well, when you mix politics with religion, those in power end up self-appointing themselves as a deity.
Right.
Yeah,
right. And people end up doing that by putting them on the pedestal first before usually they are the ones to make that statement.
Yeah.
And that's what we get a tease of that a little bit later on.
People tend to miss the leader, and the leader gets lost in the deity, and that is the problem. And
but even if the leader doesn't rise to become a deity, a pharaoh, if you will, it's still incredibly troublesome to reach for the theater of religion. It's the great perhaps. It's
exactly.
And then what you're doing is you're actually acting on people's fear instead of acting on facts and logic and empiricism. Now all of a sudden you're saying, well, this is what you have to do, or God will be mad at you. So here I lose a tremendous amount of respect for the president, and you all know how much I love her. But in this juncture, she's lost all my respect. I'm quite cheesed off at her, and I'm not an atheist. I'm an agnostic, and so I just don't think that it was appropriate for her to do this.
I had the same
she's
reaction.
done out of desperation.
It is out of desperation. It's the last move she has, but I kind of felt the same way as Raquel in that instance. But there is a scene coming up though that kind of quelled that troublesome feeling. But still, anyone playing in a political position of power, playing to religion, creates scenarios that can unfold into loss of rights for everyone.
Exactly. That's why supposedly that's why there's supposed to be a separation of church and state.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise you wind up in a theocracy, and that can be quite terrifying.
Right, exactly.
But Stephen and I have waxed philosophical on the finer points of the president's inner workings, the way that she approaches power, the way she views power. And so for this, I think she's stepping out of her regular behavior. I believe she's betraying her own ethics, and it's quite sad.
All right, Stephen.
Boxy theory. Being run off the vid systems, Boxy resorts to going back to crawling through the ductwork, trying to film more videos. Unfortunately, he finds Rosalind's secret stash and scared stiff for 3 days. Scared stiff? So he enjoys being...
So basically, he's got like a Viagra issue going on here.
Beware the chicken. Beware the chicken. Beware the chicken.
Oh man, Toxic Manflu brought up a good point. Fear, however, is only good when you need blind obedience.
Yeah.
You need people to think their way through a situation. Fear fails them.
See, that's where you come up with the debate between respect versus loyalty. So respect is something where you can have the exchange of ideas. And some people also think that's the same case with loyalty. But in the historical context, especially with those in power, loyalty is about blindness and just following what the person at the top says. Which is why in your dramatic works, you always see the villains demand loyalty and not the heroes, right? So, like Lex Luthor is the type of guys like, I want my employees to be loyal to me, absolutely, without any question or doubt. And you're like, well, that's evil, that's tyrannical. And when you hear someone in a position of power speak of loyalty and they start to inch towards that line where you realize that, it's about, a hierarchy and not about a respect of ideas, that's when you're dealing with someone in trouble. Because a commander may say, I want you to be loyal to the country, but you also want to make sure that they have enough respect for it, that if you are making a bad decision, they have the respect to say, hey, maybe this might not be the best decision, maybe we can come at it this direction. Are you sure you have all your faculties or what have you? Things that allow for growth as opposed to just, do what the guy says, I was only following orders, that type of thing. That's the thing that you got to be very, very careful
that
and
goes
mindful
right back
of.
to what I was saying in the beginning too about some YouTubers, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's this retreating to your own group of people. And I'll refrain from using the word that Bear finds offensive, but retreating to your own people, your own ideas, your own beliefs, and acting out of emotion instead of acting out of rationalism, and it's I find it morally reprehensible. Could we please highlight Brian the Gravedigger at 8:27 p.m.? We already had a Theocracy.
Mm-hmm.
Can we highlight that one?
Well, unless Drew's going. You there, Drew? Drew, are you... Dude, beware the chicken, bro.
Yeah, beware the chicken. Beware the neighbor. Beware the chicken.
Brian the Gravedigger says, we already had a theocracy. It was called the Dark Ages.
Yeah. Yeah. Here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here, Brian. Great comment. Great comment.
Yeah, I think I had an ancestor once that was beat by a priest because he made a bad pair of shoes for the king or queen.
Well, hot damn, man. Poor cobbler.
I say that in jest, but more than likely it's true.
Should we? Oh, let's move forward to the next scene. I guess we kind of.
Aye, aye,
Speed it up a
Captain.
little
Let's
bit.
keep going.
Yeah, a
Okay,
little
so
bit.
then we cut to Kara waking up, bound in a hospital bed. Simon is above her and tells her that she's in an aid hospital. Kara questions him and asks for Anders. Simon says he died on the operating table. Kara is devastated. Simon leaves. Does anybody have anything that they want to say about this scene before we move on to the next one?
That actor is wonderfully creepy.
Yeah, and his voice. Where do I know him from? I didn't do any research on him today.
Neither did I.
Pardon?
But neither did I. I'm not sure where he's from, but he has a commanding voice. But he came off as just a little bit off. Like he played that just a little bit of a creep angle on top of portraying a doctor in that scene. That was great. I mean, you eventually find out he's a Cylon, but you know, it's really well done by that actor and by the actors in that scene. That's about it.
Anybody else? Tom, Bear, SD.
Well, it was a creepy scene.
Yeah, creepy scene.
I'm looking up that guy because I don't remember seeing him in anything before Battlestar Galactica.
I've seen him in something else, and I think it might actually be that he played another species on Star Trek, maybe.
Yeah.
The face we wouldn't recognize because of makeup.
Yeah, and I find him diabolically creepy and subtly creepy, exactly as Stephen has said. And yes, great performance going in.
He's
so then
probably on the show Flashpoint as well. Like, if you ever watched that.
Oh, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. Because those are being shot around at the same time. Granted, different sides of the country.
Now I remember where I remember him from. He played the Alpha Vampire in Supernatural.
Oh.
He's good.
Okay.
He is good.
But he was in something else that I've seen. And I don't know what it is. I will find out.
We know you will.
Okay, let's continue. Okay, so then we cut to Kara waking up in her hospital bed. Simon is there. She asks Simon if he is a Cylon. He denies it. She asks if she can leave, but her injuries prevent her. So she tries to sit up, and she's in extreme pain, so she lays back down. He gives her an injection, and immediately we know something is wrong with Simon because she loses consciousness immediately. So, I mean, that's like blow dart level meds. He's taken her down like something on the Serengeti. This isn't something a doctor would do. Thoughts?
He's got some Kiss the Girls vibes going on in that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen, can you read TMF?
Sure. Toxic man flu. Boxy theory. Having worked out his stiffness from his jaunt through the vents, Boxy taps onto the comms and pages Amanda Hug and Kiss.
Oh boy, really?
Amanda Hug and Kiss. I need Amanda Hug and Kiss right now. Hey guys, is there Amanda Hug and Kiss down there? Why, you no good, filthy little. If I get my hands on you, I'm gonna tear your heart out.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
There's some like 20 of those, right? Almost 20 in the first 10
there's
seasons.
quite a few, yeah.
The one I can never find is the one for Mike Crotch.
No,
Mike Crotch.
Yeah.
I can't remember what episode that one is from.
The best is oh God, back when we were in high school, pranking people like calling a bar or restaurant and like, hey, can you page Mike Hunt, please?
I was going to say that's one that would never be on that show.
Wow.
Oh God, man, those were good times.
Yeah,
Sophomoric humor of high school. Oh,
I love Tom's voices. Tom's voices are terrific.
Oh God,
he's got a lot of great ones.
Yeah, you get Tom going on a roll with that stuff, man. Oh, you being
yes, that's my favorite. I was about to say it.
Oh God, do it, please.
Do it.
You guys got any change? I'm double parked outside, and Alfred never puts any fucking change in my utility belt. The Batmobile's big. It's like
I've only
2.5
got Bill.
cars. Of course you do, Bill. Why are you everywhere, man?
Did Alfred pack a lunch for you today?
Yes.
What do you put in it?
Apple. Hang on. Chips. Oh, man, he forgot my fucking Doritos again. He put in Cheetos this time. And not even the fire hot ones. God damn it, Alfred. I'm going home.
Oh, I love that, Tom. I love it.
Oh, that's great. Oh man.
So bad.
I say, yes, I can do foghorn leghorn, son.
By the way, hail to you, 52 movies a year. Welcome on in. He said, I grew up with Mike Hunt. He went by Michael. Absolutely true.
Sadly, I'm sure there's a lot of Mike Hunts out there.
I mean, the fact that there'd be at least both parents would consent to that name.
It's just, people are oblivious. It's like people that name their kid Richard. Like,
Oh, God, yeah.
hey, Dick.
Somebody with the last name Head, like, hey, what's up? How's it going, Richard? What's your last name, sir? Head. I'm Dick Head.
All right. Shall we move forward, Raquel?
We shall, Captain.
All
So
right.
we cut to Callie and she's in jail. It's a very quick scene. It's just a little bit of exposition. There's no dialogue here. Then we cut to the chief defending. Feel sorry, Richie Rich.
Dickie
Oh
Dick.
yeah, that'd be Dick Rich.
Oh.
Why would anybody feel sorry for him if his name was Dick Rich? I mean, obviously, we're the chicken.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares. He's the richest kid on earth.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
If he wants a new name, he'll buy one.
He
Parrothead.
bred a dog to have $ spots on it.
Yeah, Parrothead said.
I'd hate to see all the dollars that didn't turn out.
Parrothead said he knew a guy with the last name Woodcock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Woodcock. There was a movie called Mr. Woodcock, by the way. I believe.
Anyway, she was saying.
Okay. So we cut to the chief defending Callie's actions to the old man.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Adama's quarters. Adama asks the chief if he loved Boomer. The chief responds that he, quote, thought he did. Adama tells him that is love. The definition of love is thoughts. With a tone of disgust and disbelief, Adama reminds the chief that she was a Cylon, a machine. He bitterly admits that Boomer was more than a thing, more than a machine to him. He says, she was a vital living person who lived among us for 2 years. She couldn't have been just a machine, he says. Could you love a machine? He's very contemplative here. And the chief answers, no, sir. Adama is racked with guilt and confusion, moral and ethical dilemma. He paces mentally and physically like a caged animal. He composes himself rapidly and concludes Callie is merely guilty of discharging a firearm without permission. He sentences her to 30 days and dismisses the chief. With piercing mental clarity, he tells the chief on his way out that the chief will see Boomer again, as though all the moral ambiguity is washed away by the sheer number of boomers the Cylons have produced, removing any specialness Boomer may have attributed to herself. It's a cutting moment, the diabolical nature of the Cylons and the human weakness that may undo them all. Love. A feeling of specialness, sincerity, where none exists at all. Comments?
Basically, what love does for them is it makes them similar to humans emotionally.
Yeah, and also just as vulnerable.
It shows that basically they're capable of more.
Hey, Tox, I read that book. Yellow River by I.P. Freely. Oh,
That's
my
good. I'm glad that when you go to the doctor, you can turn your head and cough in complete confidence. TMF.
I think that scene shows the confliction in Adama.
Yeah.
He cares for everybody under his command. I'm sure he cared for Boomer. She was under his command for 2 years,
Yep.
and so she's speaking with he's speaking with someone. The only person on the ship that I think that could understand the
Yep.
feelings of confliction that he has while he's talking to Tyrell, and of course he's there. It just conveniently speaking out for Callie, which has got to be a conflict of interest for him as well, because she shot a person that he is trying to convince himself he was not in love with.
Mm-hmm.
And we're
Once
also looking
again,
at the fact
we
that
talked about
Adama's
this
not
in the
going to
last
get any
show.
closure.
Go ahead, SD.
We're also looking at the fact that Adama's not going to be able to get any closure from Boomer. He's never going to be able to find out why she did what she did.
Right.
Because
Okay, Boomer.
like exactly. Because
Sorry,
as soon
that
as he
joke's
woke
probably
up, I'm pretty sure he was made aware that, hey, she was alive and held in the brig this entire time. And we were questioning her and trying to figure out what's going on. And Adam was probably thinking, yeah, I could probably get through to her because of the 2-year relationship he's had with her under his command.
Mm-hmm.
And then to find out that she, is Lee Harvey Oswald. He's now at arm's reach, always at arm's reach, finding out why she did what she did, at least until
Right.
he can find, another Boomer and who has the uploaded information and, gets to the core.
And that's why he said we'll see her again. There are many copies.
Well,
Like,
and that's the thing, right? He's freaking out right now, and I think the reason why he's pacing around like a polar bear in a zoo is because I think he's grappling with the idea that he might not be able to differentiate the hardware from the software.
Right.
Would Boomer be the same Boomer over and over again? And if that's true, then there is no specialness there, and he's been duped. And I think that he feels love for her, and he's embarrassed by that, but at the same time, he knows that she is a sentient being, and I just it's a crazy circumstance, and his brain is going a mile a minute.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the sophomoric humor is flying in her chat.
Well, we need it. The show's so serious that it's okay. There's a little potty humor.
All these great books people are suggesting all of a sudden.
Spots on the Wall by Who Flung Dung, Under the Bleacher by Seymour Butts.
These are all in my library growing up, folks.
Rusty Bed Springs by IP Knightley.
You know why your springs are rusty. So.
They don't make mattresses with springs in them anymore. I miss those. You got these like hard giant foam things.
Yeah. It just ain't the same when you don't hear the squeaking.
Well, you remember the
They still
days we had
make
to flip
spring
the mattress? Oh, they're a specialty.
You guys are so funny. You miss the sound of being able to make a mattress squeak.
Yeah.
You guys are
Squeak.
precious
It's
men.
not just the mattress, it's usually the bed frame, whether it's wood or metal. You get it going.
So you're a headboard man, and Drew's
Nick
a
knows what I'm
springs
talking about.
man.
I miss the days of mattress music, motherfucker.
Tom, are you a springs or headboard man?
You gotta have both.
Oh, he's begging for both.
Always gotta put the
headboard.
pillow behind the headboard.
I've stripped many a bolt from a headboard.
Mattress music is beautiful as long as it isn't with my wife. In my dreams every night I cut her head off with a knife.
Oh my God!
Damn.
But I know I can't do it for real, 'cause then I wouldn't have any money to steal. Congo!
Can we please put up Parrot Head 8:42 p.m. please? Steven?
Yep. Parrot says, thanks, Raquel. You just reminded me of a time when I went to the zoo with my mom and we went to the polar bear exhibit and the bear came out of the water and shat right there.
Sorry about that, Raquel. I'm not sure if you know who Frank Marshall is.
No, I don't.
It's Kathleen Kennedy's husband.
Oh my.
Yeah, Tom and Rob, they do a little back and forth every now between those two. that couple.
I believe there's a Star Wars trilogy.
Well, then you should know who I'm talking about then. But
well, no, I try to avoid all that. That whole debacle. That's so harsh. I mean, I'm already like such an insider of argument by being an original series person in Star Trek. I mean,
right.
If I went around barking about Star Wars too, I wouldn't have a single friend left on the internet.
Oh yeah, you got all of us. You know,
there's enough.
We got your back no matter what. You know, and I'm telling you, Raquel, you get to know Tom more. I mean, you'll just adore Tom. He's a riot.
I am already. I think he's quite hilarious. I'm having a great time.
Oh, I'll take it over to the edge too far too soon. Sooner or later, I'm sure. I've been canceled like 3 times.
Oh yeah, people. There's been people that have gone after Tom.
Yeah, man.
Luckily, there's a very reliable letter writing campaign that keeps getting him renewed.
Hey, we did that in Star Trek many moons ago. That's how the Next Generation happened.
Yeah.
I'm competing with Steven, but I think he's got me beat.
I don't know, man. We'll find out who has more haters.
No, that is no contest, Tom. I'm sorry, but that is Trisha Helfer's ass.
That's what I'm saying.
That looks fabulous. I don't know what that thing is you got. No, not that. Get rid of that.
Does she play people?
I like to play people. I was Captain Marvelous in a movie.
This woman, she looks like she's been, feasting off of arsenic in slow doses for the last 10 years.
No, I eat baby fetuses and I snort coke.
My 2 queens beat their single queens.
That's disgusting. Why are you talking like that, you white male?
EMF, there's nothing wrong with Enterprise. There really isn't. At the time, I had many qualms with Enterprise in 2005. But then when I witnessed the burning, the razing of my dream, my franchise, something I watched for over 40 years. Yeah, man. Wow. Now I love Enterprise.
I think they had a great cast. They just missed the mark a couple of times too many until the 4th season, where things kind of really felt like Star Trek.
Crap writing. The writing wasn't very good. Star Trek is about really well-developed characters who are expressive of ideas and growth and wanting to learn and share and I was disappointed with the writing on that show. But in retrospect, I would rather have that than anything made after 2005, which is all shite.
Man. Yes. Hold on. I got to find it. Damn it. I was trying to time this so I could bring up Jolene Blalock, y'all. Look, Enterprise was great.
Oh, she's beautiful.
I loved Enterprise.
And people were so mean to her, saying that she didn't do a good Vulcan. She did so.
I thought she was great.
She did well until they gave her that Vulcan mind meld and emotion struggle.
When they
turned her into a drug addict.
Well, they had
rocks.
Yeah, they had to make her weak or something. I have no idea. She was a great character who, if you like Vulcan. People playing Vulcans, which is very difficult for people to do. There are nuances that character will create within their performance that you can tell are emotional responses. And I thought she was doing that very well, and there was no need for that drug, the smoking the rocks, whatever the hell that was. Yeah. There was no need for that. But it was what it was. I love Scott Bakula. I love Quantum Leap. They said Scott Bakula, Captain, I am there. And then
they should have had Dean Stockwell as the engineer, even though I really do like Connor Trainer.
and then they gave us Tiny Zeus Lester as the first Klingon on that show. Oh man, look, I love that first episode of Enterprise. Yeah. I love the first 2 parts.
It was good stuff.
Broken Bow is a decent pilot. Yeah.
Yeah. I also like the way that they tried to adhere to canon by talking about how the Klingons were, experimenting with it.
With the augment cells,
Yeah.
Parrothead says Nimoy was the best Vulcan. I love Nimoy. All right, I love Spock, but Sarek, the original Sarek, that's my favorite Vulcan.
Oh, Mark Leonard? Yeah, he knocked it out of the... Well, remember, Mark Leonard was the first pure actor to play a pure Vulcan, right? So
yeah.
But it was all inspired by, of course, Nimoy's performance.
Original Star Trek was about one thing only. How many lines I could get in one show. That's what it was all about. Really.
Love it. Stephen, would you be so kind as to entertain DJ?
Absolutely, number one. DJ Odyssey, Boxy Theory. Boxy discovers a fake Boxy running around trying to find Amanda Hugginkiss. After an extended fight, the fake Boxy is thrown behind the engine of a departing Viper. Damn! Well, Boxy don't take no shit.
I hate it when that happens.
Boxy got burned.
No, now there's doppelganger. What the hell?
There's a multi Boxy verse.
Is Boxy one of... I know they say that there's 8, but could Boxy be the 9th?
Maybe.
Oh,
there are many copies.
Yeah. Oh, God. Now we're getting the whole search for Amanda.
Boxy Theory. Having vanquished fake Boxy, the real Boxy searches for his long-lost father figure.
So mad.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness.
Best chat on YouTube, man. Hail to the chat. Thank you for being here.
Breaking out of the chat.
Oh no. Yeah, Boxy
yeah, put it up. Oh no.
Oh no, man. It's going on.
That's Scotty.
It's a throwdown. And he brought his daggett.
Oh man. Oh, that's great.
Shall we move forward to the next scene?
Please.
Yes. Let's do that. So then we cut to Simon checking on Kara. Kara questions him about why they are alone, if this is a legitimate hospital. Simon claims the hospital is full of patients and professionals. He seems annoyed she's asking. It's an odd reaction given the circumstances. Kara insists the hospital is too quiet. Simon gets up and starts preaching about the quiet death of radiation sickness. Any thoughts?
Well, this is the first clue that he's not a real, well, like not a doctor, but also not human, because he says loss of water, and most doctors say loss of fluid, and that's just because they don't always look at humans as like basically flesh sacks filled with water, but a machine might.
Ugly bags of mostly water.
Yes. Ugly bags of mostly water. Yes.
Sorry for the story.
And the other part that was interesting is if you do the quick math, like I think he said something about like 228 patients and only 5 doctors. That's like what, 45 patients to a single physician. That's a lot to do. That's a lot of work, and he seems to be able to have plenty of time to spend with Kara.
Yeah, and going speaking to the numbers you just mentioned, imagine how big the resistance would be if they had 500 wounded.
Yeah.
Very well. So, I think Script Doctor said it pretty much well. That's what my thoughts on it.
Yeah. Anybody else?
No, I think.
Did anybody think that the gynecologist scene was kind of creepy?
We'll get to that.
We're not there yet.
We'll get there, and yes.
My favorite part is when the lion ran down and jumped out the window because he got scared. Wait, we're talking about something else anyway.
Actually, you're kind of close to something that does happen in this episode.
You know
what would you do that for? I was just gonna scare him.
you know what's funny is like when you mentioned the gynecologist thing, I couldn't think of that. I couldn't help but think of that old joke. What did the gynecologist say when he got home? He said, "Oh boy, honey, it's been a bad day at the orifice."
Oh Lord!
Oh.
Seriously?
Oh,
Seriously?
Yeah.
Drew, in actuality, is 30 years younger than his actual age.
Yes. Beware the Drew.
Right?
Beware the truth.
Oh, that was excellent. That was like the THX sound at the beginning of the movie. Do that again, Tom.
THX. The audience is listening.
Oh man, Raquel's gonna be throwing her panties up on the stage for you after a while.
Oh damn! Singing like Barry White, Tom. Get it?
Let's get it
Get
together.
up with your love, babe. My darling.
Oh man. All right, keep going, Raquel.
Keep going. Okay, we cut to Kara having a pelvic exam.
Nice.
Simon tells her she has a cyst on one of her ovaries. Simon tells her she needs to keep her reproductive system in shape as it is her most valuable asset.
Breeder.
How flattering. Again, odd. Simon calls her a precious commodity of the resistance. Kara says she's not a commodity, but a Viper pilot. Simon says her most valuable skill is having babies. He says reproduction is crucial if they are to avoid extinction. He says lots of women who were abused as children don't want children. Kara is freaked out. Simon says her x-rays reveal multiple broken bones and fractures that are obviously from childhood. Kara begins to weep. He asks Kara if someone methodically broke all of her fingers as a child. She orders Simon out. She screams at him. He leaves.
You know what I feel like? We know that Leoben has a certain interest in Kara, and that scene to me felt like Leoben was pulling the strings. Like he sent Simon in there with certain information, and Simon executed the plans of Leoben. Because I mean, as we find out throughout the series later on, this is a theme with Leoben. But Simon, yeah, creepy guy, and bringing up her X-rays from childhood, that's manipulation.
Yeah,
you're not a doctor, dude. You know, at that point, you are manipulating your patient.
See, I think it differently, Stephen. I look at it from the standpoint of Leoben was rather protective of Starbuck, and the thing about him was, he kind of had this weird sort of friend type, unrequited love type relationship with her. And also, he genuinely had a keen interest in, her
ovaries.
Destiny. No, her destiny.
Her ovaries.
Yes, Simon wanted them ovaries.
So I think
your destiny.
I think that I think in this case the Cylon hierarchy was given Simon his marching orders, and you'll see that down the road. Not to give anything away. Because unlike some people, Bear, I don't jump ahead.
Your ovaries, like your father.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about right there, Tom.
Well, what is fascinating is just how Simon goes about explaining how he did a full body X-ray on her, which is kind of strange, for a physician to do in an emergency case. And then on top of that, when he talks about the old wounds, like these are wounds that scarring on her bones from childhood, meaning that she was at her most innocent when she was when her fingers were broken and whatever other beatings and stuff that she went through. And it also is great little character development because here's someone who escaped that and then became the best at what she likes to do, but has still not, I guess, come to terms with her past as of yet, which we kind of got alluded to with her apartment and, finding the keys and the music of her father and the painting and those types of things. It feels like there's a lot of left hanging back in her home before the Cylon attack that now she might not ever get a chance to resolve. Again, an echoing theme to what is going on with Adama and his need for closure and having it being delayed.
All right, there you go, Stephen.
DJ Odyssey, Boxy Theory. Turns out his real father is author Stephen Walton. Finding out that Boxy demands to be wrote into a series of his own, then goes and finds a place to rest. Any other Boxies are fake.
Steven, you got some splaining to do.
Toxic Man Flu brings up just underneath that good point. He says, now I hated this. They take this tough as nails character and make her a victim. I thought it really hurt this strong female character. It was unnecessary.
I disagree, because remember back when we reviewed the episode where they started to teeter on turning her into a Mary Sue. Like, we go to her apartment and sure, it's messy, whatever, but it's because she's like some sort of tortured genius, and Metamorphosis is playing on the piano, and there, you know, there's this Salvador Dali type of painting everywhere, and it's super intense, and we're supposed to believe she's this genius. For me, I thought that this was a bit of come around to be like, oh, okay, so there's something complex going on here, because that other episode where they made her look as though she had this perfect life and was just like this rebel. It sort of made me, I didn't like it.
They gave fuel to her rebellion, but at the same time, remember, she's not living a life in victimhood. Like that's the other part you have to sort of take from this, is that she has overcome the whatever tragedy that these scars that are bone deep, which are being hidden by her flesh. She's overcome that.
Yeah.
So the story that we have to like wait for to be shown to us is, how did she overcome that? And because we're kind of seeing her at the end product, where she's this badass Viper pilot. She has a surrogate father and a Dama. Things are actually going well to her now. She's reaping the rewards of her strife. But now she's kind of facing that again because of the extinction on the precipice of her species.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of being forced back into a weakened state through manipulation, and at the same time is now realizing that maybe she might have to start dealing with this stuff as things go on, because she said she didn't want children, and you know, the Simons reminds her that most people who are abused as a child are fearful of having kids for repeating such things.
Yep.
And we know how she feels about Anders, because of what Simon said when she woke up in that first day of hospital. Like, yeah, this guy brought you in, he took shrapnel, he died, and she just immediately loses it. Mm-hmm. And so we know that there's some deep relationship there, and now she's most likely, I mean, we can only speculate at this point until it is revealed later on, she might start considering a long-term relationship and possibly parentage, but we don't know that. Like, she's now conflicted, and this is what we kind of want from our characters, is we want conflict. Mm-hmm. I will say the introduction to her childhood abuse stuff was a little ham-fisted. Mm-hmm. Probably could have been handled more interestingly, more of a revelation through the audience, as opposed to, here it is right here, straight center, you're abused as a child. Like, it would have been more interesting if it was maybe the father was still alive and you could see a back and forth between them, and then eventually you get to the realization without Kara having to say, like, you know, you broke my fingers in a drawer type of thing, but like, you know, get some more depth and familiarity from that.
But
this
when you're
one here,
4 o'clock in the morning and you're writing this scene, it was very obvious that when he was writing this scene, or when a group of people were writing this scene, that this was a massive course correction. Did anybody else sort of feel that there were initial moments when we were introduced to this character where we could have felt like she was a little too perfect? Things were going a little too well for her, and then she gradually grows into a much more complex character with a lot of conflicting ideas and personality traits, and a past that seems more real due to all of the conflict and difference that SD is talking about.
It's a little bit of a course correction, but they still keep falling back onto the trope of, if you want to, you know, not make a Mary Sue look like a Mary Sue, have them break a bone or something.
Yeah.
So or suffer an injury that incapacitates them for a short period.
Yeah.
I can't remember if they dropped that after this season or not. It's a little shady, but I hope they do. And they start getting more into the actual depth of her, because by the end of the series, she's not as much of a Mary Sue, but there is those moments. There are still those moments.
The character's thick and rich by the end. But yeah, it's a thin soup in the beginning, and you're kind of like, oh, this is a little bland, and then that soup thickens up and it becomes just luxurious. It's great character development, but initially you're like, eh.
It becomes
Is this the finger bowl? Am I drinking from the finger bowl?
Becomes Kara banging Baltar and then going, "I get out."
Yeah, like when she bangs Baltar.
That was a great scene. Yeah, I'm done with you.
Yeah, and she treats him like a little bitch. Yes. You know what I mean? I think on that episode I called Gaius her Steely Dan. He was just inserted and then discarded. He walked away and he didn't even get any satisfaction, as Mick Jagger would say.
Hail to Scorpio in the chat. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. Have a great night, brother. All right, shall we move forward?
Okay, so we have a bunch of short scenes coming up, so I think I'll just do like 3 of them in a row. How does that sound, guys?
Okay.
Okay. So we cut to the CIC and Ty and Adama discussing the president's religious address. The old man is pissed. He calls it religious crap. It's a plea to return to Cobol. Ty says they can't stop it. Adama says no one is going to follow her. No one's going to believe this crap. No one's this stupid. He says Cobol is a suicide run. We cut to the president prepping to jump. She enters a room and everyone drops, genuflecting to the president. She claims she doesn't want this worship. This is crap, of course, because she enters the sea of people and begins laying hands on them, blessing them with her touch, much like Jesus Christ. Then we cut to the resistance. Anders and the team are searching for Kara. A Sharon appears and says she knows where Starbuck is. Hilo doesn't tell Anders she's a Cylon. We cut to the president coordinating a jump. The Astral Queen with Lee and the president aboard jumps. We cut to the CIC. Adama says, let's see who follows.
Yeah. Thoughts? Well, my thoughts about Rosalind was, like you were saying earlier, about the worry of her becoming a religious icon is more than just a whole person holding political office. She doesn't really, I don't think she respects the religion. She doesn't respect the power of religion because she was really most likely an atheist or agnostic. I mean, from what we could tell earlier, when she began to speak with the religious woman, I can't think of her name, about what had been going on, with her, about her being the dying leader and, and lining up with the scripture. And so she walks into this room, and all these people, prisoners, looks like it's a prisoner ship, they kneel down into prayer, like to honor her, asking for her blessing. And that's when she really understands, like, okay, you've gone down this road. And she has to be told by the priestess, look, this is the road you choose. This is what this is. And so that gave me a little bit of hope in a way that, she didn't understand the implications of pulling that religious card and using it. And maybe, hopefully, in the future, she will at least learn about it, to respect it enough to understand that her decisions her words will no longer just be political, but they will also have religious significance and the power that also brings. That's my thought.
And remember, the context is that she's the dying leader, right? So if she doesn't backtrack on that or right the ship before she passes, she will die as a martyr and then be far more elevated in statures through history that could actually have a very dangerous effects on the society that does make it to Earth.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. That's a good thing that you hit on, SD, because I don't think she truly understands the scope of that, but she's more or less going along with it because the political winds
she has no option
way are going to help her.
Yeah, she has no option.
She has no other option but to make that play for herself right now. And it's
well, the quorum wouldn't back her up.
No.
Tom Zarek came back and said, he's been like her communication arm right now to the outside world, and the quorum would not back her up unless they presented something, which is why they tried to have Lee make that tape to try and get them on their side. and then Lee wouldn't do it, and so she had no option but to pull that religious card. But now she's got to deal with the implications of that in her image and the importance of that her voice is going to have, how it's going to resonate to people who are religious. At the end of that scene, talking about how many people will jump away. Did we get to how many jumped away?
I know.
23. Yeah, we haven't got to that scene yet.
Okay,
But the other thing to remember is that Tom Zarek is the only person that's saying that the quorum of 12 are.
That's true.
Yeah.
We don't know that for sure because we have no other party. Yeah. He's the only information. He is a manipulator. He can say whatever he needs to get power. And what's one thing that he would really love is Adama out of power.
Right.
Yeah, it just changes my opinion of this woman that I really love. This woman she feels real to me, and I adore her. And I'm saying that even as a writer and an editor. But here, this is why I admire this author and these authors and the people who make the show. This is why I admire them so much. This is one of those shows where I stop thinking as a writer, I stop thinking as an editor, and I start thinking about being in the text. And here she's just disappointed me to the umpteenth degree because, I don't know. I don't want to go Christopher Hitchens on the panel, but I just feel really upset.
I love me some Hitchens. I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I could easily go hitch with a vagina here, but I'm not going to do it.
You're gonna do what with that?
You're going to do what with your ovaries? Okay. Tom, please say again what I want your ovaries. What in that voice?
Your ovaries like your father. I know.
My God.
Ovaries like your father. That's brilliant.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Both of them.
That should be the new hashtag. Ovaries like your father. Hashtag ovaries like your father. Come on, people. Spread it around the net.
Oh my God. Does anyone else have any comments about those scenes?
They'll be quite operational when your friends arrive.
The thing that I noticed was she was bestowing blessings.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah, it's she. I attended Bible school when I was young. That's the way that I was raised, and there was definitely when she entered the pool of genuflecting people, she was definitely laying hands, which is a religious term that means that it is a blessing. It is a reverential thing where the deity is giving power and healing, and it's done through the hands. And
Yeah, I used to go to a Pentecostal church.
She was laying hands on people, and while they were genuflecting, I was like, I can't believe this is happening, Rosalind. How could you do this?
Oh yeah, Pentecostal. Snakes or no snakes?
No, not Southern Baptist. A Pentecostal.
Okay,
that would be Southern Baptist.
I thought it was Pentecostal. My bad.
That's a whole different kind of crazy.
Parrot Head at 9:11 p.m. Could we please put that up on the main screen, please? Thank you. Let's just leave that there for a little while. Okay.
Well, Raquel, real quick, what is genuflecting?
That's like when you kneel. It's like in the Catholic Church, we genuflected before we, got in a pew. We made the sign of the cross.
Yeah, genuflecting is
bowing. Testicles, walk and watch.
It's showing humility.
It is inextricably linked to deification, to religious practice. So you wouldn't say just, he bows, because that could be military. That could be something cultural. Genuflecting is very exacting diction. It means that somebody is acknowledging your religious power or your religious standing.
Thank you very much.
It has more of a worship approach, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So a person in the circle would be genuflecting to a high priestess.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
The last time I genuflected in church, I got kicked out.
You have to have your pants on, Tom. You need your pants on.
I thought that's what the little booth was for.
Oh boy! Just opened up Pandora's box right here. Oh.
That was how I got kicked out of church.
Hey, that wasn't my problem. One of the people at the church wanted me to date their daughter.
Oh,
She was
Yeah,
hot.
but like in the church though.
Yes.
Your
I'm missing the
pants
problem
on.
here.
There was a huge problem. They didn't care that I was, at the time I was 18, and they wanted me to date their 16-year-old daughter. I kid you not. Of course,
Well, that wouldn't
16,
be dating.
18.
That would be
Close
rape.
enough.
Yeah, you gotta
Um,
wait 2
no,
years for that.
Close enough.
Depends on what state you're in.
Northern
Oh,
Indiana.
Jesus.
As funny as that is,
Usually
it's true.
alcoholic state.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was basically shoved, literally shoved, and I was basically, hey, take her out and go take her places and all that by the church and all that. And she was kind of crazy.
But
She
were
was
your
just trying to
pants
just like
on?
She was
offload her onto you.
no, she was crazy. Not in a really real bad way, but the girl liked to party. She liked to drink, and I'm like, wow. And so did I, man. But it's like,
And she likes to party and drink.
yeah.
I was
And
poor. I
and
was
she
young,
took me
14.
on the date to the beach, and there was other people there. Took me on the trail. The girl was freaking crazy. I couldn't get away from her fast enough. I'm telling you.
It's them religious girls, man. The religious kids. They party the hardest. I've hung
Yeah.
out
She tried
around
to
a few
seduce
pastors.
me on the freaking trail. I couldn't believe it. I could not get away from that girl fast enough. I'm telling you.
Oh man, yeah, the like
Crazy women scare me, man. I'm
So
telling
what
you.
she was
Always
saying,
have.
if you think this trail we're walking on is interesting, wait till you see the one I've been working on, and then drops her pants or something.
No, she took her top off and says, "Hey, this is what you're gonna get." I'm like, just mind blown. Yeah, I had to get out of there.
And
Yeah.
you were how old at the time?
18.
Oh yeah, okay. So you were a kid too. Okay, I thought that you were much older. I didn't hear.
Oh
yeah,
God.
I was 18. She was 16.
Oh, so you guys were kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Drew's so big.
But you got to understand the world that I seen eyes through, because I had been living in a man's world since I was 14. I was hanging out with other adults. I was partying everywhere else. They didn't know how old I was. They thought I was like 24. I had a whole secret life.
Bear's secret life. All right.
Yeah. When I was a teenager, yeah.
Parrothead
The
says
Secret Life of Bears.
It's a TV show. Parrothead, Drew's so big he doesn't lay hands. He uses a third leg. Drew rolled over and caused a 6.0 earthquake on the other side of the earth. Beware the Drew.
Yep.
Oh boy. All right. All right, let's move forward unless anyone else has anything else to add.
No, I'm good.
All right, let's keep going. Okay, we cut to Cara. Simon comes in. He's performed more surgery on her. He puts her out again. When Simon leaves, we learn Cara has kinked her IV, and she makes her way out of her room. She happens on an open room in the hallway. Simon is talking to Six about giving Cara what she thinks is a hysterectomy. Six asks if Simon is feeling regret. Cara goes back to her room and she prays. So I would just like to point out that there's an error here that maybe people... Okay, so we know that she goes back to the wrong room then. So the geography within the layout of the hospital is off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have walked in and be like, "Hey, you're in the wrong room." And then,
there's another thing here.
There's another mistake.
Yeah, that I think this was inadvertent, but it was Bear. You can explain it because you caught it.
Yeah, when she snuck out of the room, did you notice that? I didn't notice her picking the lock to get out of the room. The door was open. She went out the door and came back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
then she...
I didn't notice it was a different room. I didn't notice that. But I noticed when in this scene, basically when she took the dude out and basically wasn't asleep, and he thought that was weird, and a piece of that mirror was missing. And she shoved that piece of mirror in his neck, and she had the keys. She unlocked the door.
Yeah.
She went out that door that was not locked.
It had already been open.
We're not there yet. Psst. We're not there yet.
Not only that, kind of an irrelevant moment because you didn't even need to have her steal his keys to get out the door because there's nothing to establish that the door is locked anyways.
Do you ever wonder if little people have miniature furniture?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I'm an Asian midget, and I can confirm that I have regular size furniture.
Wait, you're below 4'6", Drew?
No,
you're not.
Are we talking about like Fatal J little people?
No, I'm 5. I'm 5.
What? Fatal J is actually a legit little person?
I'm
No.
little, but I ain't little.
But he always he promises to bring over midget strippers all the time. So
I slept with a midget once.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did it make it feel bigger?
No, it was just weird.
Can we all just take a moment of silence? Because now we've officially reached rock bottom.
Oh, no, you haven't.
No, we have
You
not.
ain't listened to an episode of me.
Connors Jr. on a show if it made him feel hung.
No, trust me.
We're still at the top of like Mount Olympus
Oh,
right
God,
now. We
yes.
haven't gotten
You
anywhere near rock
watch
bottom.
me for like 20 minutes. This is nothing.
Yeah, wait till you
Rob's
get
talking about fucking quicksand porn and
Rim job Rob.
and you have no idea. Licking buttholes and shit. That's like a standard afternoon in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, guys, like I'm used to like a little dirty to make it funny. But
Oh no. We're all dick and fart jokes wall to wall ball.
oh my
And that's on the cleaner days.
Yeah. God forbid there's a bad day.
God. Stephen, would you be so kind as to do the TMF?
Absolutely. See, TMF. Drew rents himself out as a tent pole for Ringling Brothers. Beware the Drew.
It makes good money though.
That's exactly.
Actually, a very,
And free popcorn.
Yeah, free popcorn.
that is a very cute
He's
joke.
very popular with the bearded lady, I hear.
Just hope that
Intimidates all the elephants.
just hope the pole don't collapse.
Intimidates all the elephants. SD.
DJ Odyssey says, "Hey, nothing wrong with quicksand porn." I don't even know what that is, but all right, DJ.
It's exactly what you think it is. I have not yet Googled
Oh,
it.
you haven't heard it? He hasn't heard that story?
I'm on this.
Oh my God.
Oh God, please. La 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 la. I can't hear what he's saying.
Rob comes to me one day, as he does, and he goes, "You'll never guess what I found." And of course, with Rob, you never know.
Right.
And he goes, I said, "What?" As you do. And he goes, "Quicksand porn." And I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" He's like, "Quicksand porn is exactly what it sounds like. It's a scantily clad woman sinking slowly into the sand."
What?
What?
Yeah, he said it's the perfect porn. It's a woman who disappears after you're done with her.
Oh shit!
I said, "Rob," I said, "that's disgusting." I said, "Realize you found the end of the internet, right?" He's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, literally. The next page it says you found the end of the internet. Please go back."
The internet is flat.
That's it. There's no more to go. This is it. You've literally found the most strange, obscure thing there is to find. Turn around and go back. No more to see here.
There were also some placement errors, so we know that they probably had to do a few things with the scene here because Kara's hand is out of place a couple of times too. And I know Drew likes these little continuity and character and anachronism point outs because the Ultimate fans love them. So I'm not being nitpicky, but since Drew loves to have this stuff pointed out.
Well, I like her hand out of place. It's on my job.
Yeah, so I know the fans love these little jewels, so I should probably mention that before we move on.
Yeah, you know, who doesn't dig the jewels?
I thought ladies liked the big ones, but she says the fans are into little ones. So,
Steven?
oh, so why'd she go right to you?
because I'm the gross one. Toxic man flu. Whenever NASA needs a satellite launch, they put it on Drew's manhood and shows him Starbuck in a bikini.
Hey, there we go.
What he forgot
catapult launches can work.
What he forgot to mention was it's the TOS Starbuck.
Tom, I was
Dirk
in radio
Benedict?
before, so I only picked Stephen because Stephen used to have the deepest voice on the show. But since you're also going to be on the panel, I should call on you, especially because you have so many different voices. You could nail some of these boxy theories and comments.
Well, you'll have to take me up on that at another time, I'm sure, because I do have to scooch here in a few minutes, but it's been nice meeting. Do you have at least a Twitter? Because I asked if you had a YouTube channel, and the guys are like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm on Twitter.
All right, well, hit me up on Twitter, and yeah, because we'll have you on After Dark.
You.
Yeah. Oh God, if you have Raquel on After Dark, man,
you'll know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can put up with Rob, now? You can put up with me. You can put up with Rob.
You're departing now?
Yeah, I'm going to depart here in about 5 minutes.
Well, can I just say what a pleasure it was to meet you and
Absolutely.
How wonderful it was to have you on the show. And everybody in the chat, please make sure that you go and torture Tom with, Beware the
Please
Chicken.
Do. Beware the Chicken.
Please go to his show. Please like and sub his channels. Go find him on Twitter. Join him up. Great person, and you should go and support him.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
Tom's a riot, and privately, during a lot of the struggle.
You're not supposed to tell people about that, Drew.
He's been a really good friend, and
just the tips.
Yeah,
it's just docking one time.
I know. But, it was so kind of you.
You got to try it just once. It's you just to know.
It was so kind. Oh my God.
And Drew is such a caring lover. No, he's a great guy.
Back kisses.
All these guys are great here. I know all these guys. It's really funny that it's the first time meeting you, but I know all these guys. I hang out with them almost daily.
Oh, great.
So,
yeah.
So we'll have to subject you to some After Dark one of these days.
Okay, that sounds really great.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm going to get out of here so you guys can actually finish your show without me derailing it anymore.
Are you helping us finish? It's so nice when you help all these guys finish.
See, that's the kind of attitude I like to have in a woman.
Yeah, he's a team player.
It's a very important thing.
Reach around protocol engaged.
Hey, Tom, I sent you a link to Raquel's Twitter.
Amazing, thank you.
Twitter link.
Parrot Head says Tom Sparks never make noise anymore.
I don't want to know.
I got the joke.
That's Rob's job. He's the one who does that more often. But anyway, he'll do it right. He'll just sit there and be like, "Oops, forgot to mute."
I know, right, Brian? Can we please
and Script Doctor's laughing because it's happened before.
Can we please put up Brian's comment? He's a part of our panel and he's saying goodnight as well. So can we please highlight 926?
Yeah.
If I'm pushing somebody out of the panel, get your butt in here.
No. Brian works so much right now. I can't even believe that he's in the chat. All the guy does is work. So
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna check out of here so you guys can actually finish your show. I've been dragging it out so long. Yeah, as always, you guys are fun. Been a pleasure meeting you, Raquel. Take care, everybody.
Tom, thanks for finally busting your cherry on my channel. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's what happens when you leave fucking links in my vicinity.
There you go, man. Thank you.
I click on shit. Over. If it's a button, I just click on it, like this one.
That was a classic accent.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, guys, make sure you follow
like this one. Whoop.
Midnight's Edge After Dark, and subscribe to Tom. He's always got great information. Midnight's Edge does break a lot of pop culture stories. They do their own investigative journalism between he and Rob and Andre. So make sure that you check out their stuff because their YouTube channel is great, and Tom does a good show. So
hail to that. Yeah,
hail to that. So say we all.
Absolutely, yeah.
So say we all.
So say we all. All right, so let's bring it on home. Let's take it.
Bring it on home. We're really far behind. Okay,
that's a song.
Here we go. Okay, so we cut to Simon's morning visit. Kara smiles at him. Simon checks her drip. She stabs Simon with a broken glass right in the neck, right in the jugular, saying, I never told you my call name was Starbuck. Simon says, you can't kill me. He drops dead and Kara makes a run for it. He happens on a room of human women being used as incubators. Sushan is there and begs Kara to kill them all by cutting the power. Kara destroys the equipment. She happens on 6 and attacks her with a fire extinguisher. She cold cocks her out cold. She makes it out of the building, but another Simon is there. The resistance guns him down. Toasters appear, actual toasters. Cylons, not the skin ones.
Yeah,
and then there's massive gunfire. Sharon appears in a raptor. I have something to say about this when we're done. And reinforces the resistance. She lands and the resistance boards with Kara in tow.
Wait, wasn't it the Heavy Raider?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a Heavy Raider.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be a Heavy Raider because then that is actually a mistake, because then why wouldn't they just take everyone out of there? That's anachronism. That's a mistake.
Well, the thing, okay, explaining away the Heavy Raider is and I always kind of had this line of thinking was when she, because this is Athena Sharon that's coming back, because I always make sure to differentiate the two, because there's Boomer Sharon that's kind of, the heel, and there's Athena Sharon that's the face, so we got to kind of differentiate that. But Athena Sharon coming back and kind of doing the right thing, it's plausible that, obviously they had a base ship in orbit. She went, took the Raider back to the base ship, got a Heavy Raider, and came back down to rescue the people that she knows, all because, and again, this is devotion out of for Hilo. Her thought was to go back and rescue them, and she's already on that road to atonement. That that Athena, had that crisis of character. Now she's past that. She's on the road to atonement, and so she's gone and got her own rescue plan. And I think that's like what you can insinuate that off screen. So
a lacuna. You're claiming it's a lacuna. I buy that. I buy that the author left out that tidbit to regain this type of ground. But still, it does not address the fact that everyone in the immediate party could have boarded the Heavy Raider, meaning Anders. I'm getting way ahead of myself, and I don't like to go ahead without explaining the scene. But Anders could have went with everyone, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's true, but the Heavy Raider, there's still only so much capacity in that ship as well. Because while it's a little bit bigger than a standard Raider, there's really not that much space in it. So it still has limited space.
Does anybody know the seating capacity of a Heavy Raider?
No.
Well, based on if that's the same Heavy Raider that hit the Galactica a few episodes ago at the start. What they have 7 Cylons,
7-8 people max.
7 or 8 Cylons, yeah. So even if you were to say just do a quick hyper jump from Caprica to Cobalt, you could pack that thing up to capacity and just do it, because you're not in hyperspace or light speed jump for more than like a second or two.
FTL, yeah.
And your
So how
FTL.
many souls do you think, SD?
If you really want to jam it in, maybe 20 people. Yeah, based on the size. I mean, also, like, you have to take a look at the crowd of people that were running into the Raider later on in that episode. That was like, what, 15, 16 people?
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could probably get 20 comfortably, maybe about 40 uncomfortably.
Yeah, I would have dragged Anders by his ear. It's very obvious that there is some hot and heavy, beautiful sex and love going on here. I would not leave Anders. Anyhow, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Oh, damn. All right. Preach, Raquel.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Preach, girl.
Okay, so we keep going?
Real quick, I just wanted to say that the scene with the women was creepy and just horrid to look at the first time I viewed it. It's still disturbing to me when I watch it, when I rewatch it. I'm glad that they just had Starbucks smash the machine, because she was like, turn this off, as if she had any idea how to operate that machinery, and having her just bash it until it exploded. God, can you imagine? I mean, later, can you imagine leaving behind that many people after going through that scenario? As a man or a woman, I mean, just going through what you went through with Simon, escaping, realizing that you're going to be a guinea pig, then walking into that, and then taking part in killing these women, rather than have them be used as vessels to create hybrids, and then escape from that. That's a lot of shit to go through emotionally.
I would want to be killed. If that Simon guy kept coming into the room to check on his experiments, with my feet constantly up in the stirrups like that, trying to cook a human toaster, I would definitely want to be killed. I would be like Sushan. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but just really, really,
Yeah, I can't, as a woman, I can't imagine what that was like, but I think that's another part of the good writing and connecting with your audience, because as a man, I look at that and see the abhorrent nature of it. And although I'm not a woman and I can't maybe imagine those instances or imagine something akin to it, the horror of it is no less, I think, shaking to my core.
It resonates. I mean, that disturbed me as well. And all drama aside, there is a joke in there where you've got like a bun in the oven and toasters. I just can't think of it right now.
Well, thanks.
That's dark ass humor, SD.
Well, I mean, that was a dark scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's tragic and it's creepy, and you look at it and you're like, I think I know what's going on here, but just tell me, because I think I don't want my imagination to run away with me with the horror. Yeah. And it's.
I'm glad it was as fast as it was,
Yeah.
But it was enough to leave an impact, as to what a kind of experimentation is happening to people who were left behind on Caprica.
I love that a man. I love men. Men are so awesome. I love that a man just said the word horror. Yeah, and that's exactly how I would feel if somebody did that to my body. And I can't believe that you just turned that phrase, SD. Thank you on behalf of women everywhere. To have somebody take over your body like that, and it would be like being raped 24 hours a day. Right. And that's way more than a scary scene. It's way more than a science fiction scene. It's horror. And wow, beautiful, excellent choice in diction. Thank you, SD.
Yeah, I didn't do it to appease women, but I mean, because it is just a horrific thing.
No,
yes,
that's actually why I praised you, is because it did happen organically. You weren't doing it for a political reason. It did happen organically, and that shows me that you're capable of empathy. A lot of people just think of the birthing process as kind of like an incubation process, and it is.
I never want to go through that.
Yeah.
I've heard 4 births from beyond the room, because I wasn't related to the people. I was just the godparent. But yeah, it's even with drugs, it's still kind of a shimmering resonating effect on those who can witness.
SD, I watched it. Goddess bless that woman. what she went through to bring my son into the world.
Absolutely, like you can't help but feel frightened and also impressed and in awe. Yeah, that that a woman's body can go through that, and how I completely understand why a lot of midwives always say, get the epidural, because it will the shock alone could cause a lot of damage. So Jeez,
just a crazy experience. But I loved your word horror, because constantly being in the stirrups. I mean, when I was in labor, it lasted 6 hours. I could never imagine being a laboratory experiment going through that for however long. I mean,
right?
They're doing this to hundreds and thousands, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
So shall we continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, we only have 3 scenes left. 2 short ones and 1 long one. So we cut to the CIC. Gata informs the old man 1/3 of the fleet has followed the Messiah president to Kobol. Then we cut to Adama in the morgue with Boomer's corpse. He has a flashback. He says aloud, "Why?" He cries and he strokes her forehead, repeating, "Why?" And then he breaks down and starts sobbing uncontrollably.
Yeah, I mean, and that goes to that conversation he had with Tyrrell, and I forget which one of you said it. If it was Keller Script, I think it was Script, about not being able to have any closure with Boomer. And you know, he loves his crew. He loved this woman, and he's trying to reconcile. Well, is this a machine? How could I have these feelings if this is just a machine? It's a lot of conflicting. Just a lot of conflict within him about the confrontation of his ideology that they are just dealing with machines, soulless, emotionless, killing machines that are trying to eradicate his race. And now here he is finding out, after being shot by one that someone he had loved and taken care of for 2 years was a machine.
And look at her corpse, like that. She's got the incision for an autopsy on her chest, just like you would have a human. She's not disassembled; she's stitched back up.
Right.
And it's very creepy imagery. And for you fans that like pointing out weird issues and mistakes, in one of the first close-ups of her face, you can see her eyes move beneath her eyelids as if she were still alive. And that usually happens because the actor fell asleep, because that's almost like a rabbit eye thing. Yeah, and I know this from just some of my friends that are actors and whatnot. They do have a course of playing dead where you have to like hold your eye still and open for the 3 minutes, which is apparently difficult, and also keeping your eyes basically away from camera and closed when they do a shot of you as a dead corpse, so that you kind of create that stillness when they play around with it in post-production. So yeah, I think she's been doing that scene for a while, or maybe they put her in makeup and she fell asleep, because it might have been about 4 hours of makeup, and they're like, just put her on the slab and shoot her like that. They're good to go.
Yeah.
SD was staring at her on that slab going, "Hello, is it me you're looking for?"
I guess
I could see it in your eyes, but they're closed right before me.
I would really like to revisit the one of the comments that you just made. What did you say that I thought was really, really profound? Oh yes, remember we were all talking about this the idea, the nature of robotics and what makes a sentient being. I really love and would love to draw attention to SD's comment about how she wasn't disassembled. Now I want you to sort of ruminate on that idea for a minute. That is a very, very important statement to make. She could have been disassembled, but instead they performed an autopsy. This says so much about what we are to believe of these beings, these robots, and how it's trying to shape up to show us the possibility of humanity within machines. So great comment, SD. Loved it.
Thanks.
Everybody should have a script doctor, but you can't have ours.
Yeah.
That should be the title to my autobiography one day.
Yeah.
No, the title to your autobiography is 1,000 Ways to Hate Gaius Baltar.
I can think of more than 1,000.
Does anyone else have anything about or comments about this scene?
No, I think we covered that pretty good.
All right. So we cut to Boomer telling Kara that the whole Enterprise is a human Cylon breeding program. Hilo checks Kara's wounds and tells Kara the Cylons are calling them farms. Kara says they were going to knock me up with some Cylon kid. Boomer responds, well, they were going to try. What's weird here is that Sharon says we haven't been successful so far, and Anders cuts in, supposedly they can't reproduce. This signals to the audience that Anders was in fact debriefed on Sharon off camera. Sharon cuts back in to say that procreating is one of God's commandments. Kara interrupts and says that they are raping human women. Sharon partially corrects her and says they are setting up mating pairs for willing breeders, like Hilo and Sharon. Hilo explains that they were set up to fall in love. It's Stockholm Syndrome insanity, and Kara lays it straight. Boomer tells Kara that she is special and that she has a destiny, reminding Kara of what Leoben prophesied. Hilo asks about the second wound. Boomer doesn't know what it means. Disgusted, Anders asks how many women are being held on the farms. Boomer says hundreds, maybe thousands. She doesn't know. Kara and Anders cut away to discuss an assault on all of the farms. Anders goes to the hiding place and gives Kara the arrow and tells her to go find Earth. Kara and Anders exchange breakup speeches. Anders says his new mission is to destroy all the farms. Says that Kara must hold to her promise to return for him. They're both crying. Kara gives Anders her dog tags. She says, "I'm coming back." Anders grabs her hand and tells her to be safe. And they take off in the heavy
the Heavy Raider.
The Heavy Raider. And I have to admit, I kind of got a little weepy-eyed. Not fully, didn't cry, but came close. Due almost entirely to the chemistry between these two actors. Holy crap and crap. Yeah. They created some magic.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they were definitely making some good music.
Yeah, I think that I think that the guy that played Anders, Michael Trucco, I thought Trucco and Katie had a really good chemistry, and that's why that whole arc between Anders and Starbuck throughout the series is pretty good. It's pretty damn good, and it says it communicates some important things.
I like to forget being an author, and I like to forget being an editor. And there are few cultural exemplars that allow me to do that allow me to shut off examining the text. And this is one of those cultural exemplars. And I've said that partly because I would like to interrupt the panel. Could we please put up 943, Brian, the Gravedigger?
No, okay, yeah. Let me see here.
Please.
Come on, Drew.
Hey, Brian. Alrighty, y'all. I gotta go to sleep. Got a big day tomorrow. Brian is working his keister off these days. Brian, thank you so much for coming. I know everybody in the chat misses you when you're not here, and everybody on this panel, we just think that you're great. So thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for sharing with us and showing up, even though you are basically working 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
Hail to you.
Yeah, and I know you'll have your equipment back soon, Brian, and you can do it on a regular basis. So it'll be awesome.
Listen, I love Raquel. She speaks so nicely about people. Brian, I want to sleep with you right now. I'm not gay or anything, but I'm feeling some kind of way.
Let's cuddle up and take a nap, baby.
Hell, brother, it's good to see you, man. I'm glad you could be in the chat, and we can't wait for you to be able to come back to the team when you can, man.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be great.
So, you know what I felt like at the end of the scene? I did like it. I don't know if I got necessarily emotional, but I enjoyed the chemistry between those two, and Anders is one of my favorite characters. And this episode ending felt like I don't know, it did its job, because I felt like I needed to go into the next part of the story. I needed to watch the next episode. I needed to begin seeing, everything that was unfolding. Starbuck going back to Cobalt. And all of these, so this episode did its job with me. And it was a lot of creepy horror aspects that happened, like Script Doctor said earlier, and that were jarring, but well placed and jarring in a way that made me more interested in the material the first time I saw it.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with that sentiment.
Mm-hmm. Likewise. I mean, that's this mark of a great, well-written episode, is that they complete the main part of the story, but they leave something extra on the table for that makes you or compels you to come back again later. Now, I would say the first half of this episode, the pacing was a little wonky, but the tail end of it really just hit everything home. So that's the marks of them, doing a good job, knowing where they're headed from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Indeed. Raquel again did a bang up job. Thank you for making all those notes, man. Like, I was doing it before you came along. I was doing it. I had no problem doing it. I enjoyed it. But
Steven,
what?
That is the scientific manual to this episode. Those aren't notes. Raquel writes scientific manuals to these episodes.
She really does.
Let's give it its proper due. They're scientific manuals. You could publish them.
Well, I just wanted to say that we really appreciate it. I appreciate it. And,
I mean,
Indeed.
Raquel, I can't say it enough how much I really love you. Not only as being my personal friend, but I marvel at your skill in being so thorough and having these very unique episode guides to really bring our chat to another level. And you are such an invaluable member of this team, and I can't speak highly enough of you. You are.
And so well worded. You remind me of words that I forgot, that I learned at one time and just never used it, and just forgot. And I really appreciate what you bring to the table too.
You guys are all so kind. I don't even deserve this praise. I can tell you that it is a great honor to be a part of this chat, to have made all of these friendships in the chat and on the panel. And I want you all to know that because, as many of you know, I've been trying to finish my PhD. I started out to complete a Doctor of Social Science. It's $84,000, and I haven't had money.
Not doing it.
I haven't had money to finish it, even though I have my statement of intent and it's refereed, and I have my lit review, and I basically have a preloaded dissertation, and I'm ready to go. I just don't have the money to do it. So I've been teaching, and I've not been writing because I just wanted to get to this end game of my education. Well, because of the people in this chat and because of the people on this panel, I actually started writing fiction again. Nice. And I'm about halfway through a collection of short stories. And it's because of all of you, because of people like Perry and Brian and Drew and SD and Steven and Bear and just everyone, this whole crew. You guys have been great. So thanks for the inspiration.
Well, when it's ready to go, Raquel, and you take that next step, do an Indiegogo for it, whatever, you realize that we love you and we will push that project to the high heavens. You heard it here first, folks. I mean,
I'll volunteer my channel for a segment.
This is a bombshell, and we will absolutely 100% collectively chat, because I know you're huge fans of Raquel. I know you guys like us, but you're all huge fans of Raquel. I understand from the private comments, from the feedback that I get about the show. So let's make it happen for her when she has this ready and she's wanting to do a Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Let's get behind that 100% and get it out there.
Thank you. I feel so undeserving of all this praise because I'm in a room filled with the kindest, smartest, most talented people who are so generous with their time and so generous in their friendship. Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Hail.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I think that overall, this was a pretty good episode. I've always kind of viewed this episode as I can take or leave it. This was to me a true semi sort of filler episode, but at the same time, upon second watch, I give it a better original score than I gave it in the first place. Because I had it, I would say on first watch, probably about a 6.5, 7. I give it a solid 8 for this one. I thought that in the grand scheme of things, I was mistaken. It actually is pretty important, and yeah, I give it now an 8.
Cool.
Okay. Oh, I'm next. I'm sorry. This is one of my favorites because it's jarring, because of the implications of some of the things that you see on Silent Occupied Caprica. This is a 9 to me. I thought the performances were wonderful. It was an episode that left me wanting more. It went into a very dark realm of sci-fi that was a legitimate question as to what was going on there, and it led to a very dark place that was, it was difficult to watch, and on a rewatch, just comprehending it's difficult for me, and I enjoy that. I enjoyed that they went there. They went to a place that some science fiction shows might not go to because of the implications or the dark aspect of it. Kara. I mean, Katie Sackhoff, man, this is a great Katie Sackhoff episode. She shows a wide range of emotions and ability. I love the actor that plays Anderson. Their chemistry between those two. Like seeing Athena come back. 11th hour Athena, and overall, I really. Oh, and Simon. This is the first. I think this is the first episode.
Yeah.
He is so creepy. I love him. This is a solid 9 for me.
Cool. Yeah, those are amazing comments. Before I begin my comments, something that I never studied in university because, I'm an academic and I do like writing fiction and I know a lot about fiction. One thing that I never took a class in university in my undergrad or my master's was script writing. It's just something I've never studied. So before I begin giving my evaluation, I have a question for SD.
Okay.
SD, I felt like there were fewer scenes in this episode, and it sort of made it feel more fluid. Am I correct? Were there fewer scenes in this one?
Well, there are fewer locations. Scenes seemed about normal for an episode of this type.
Okay.
I think because of the hospital setting and the fact that there was a manipulation of how many days are actually passing versus actual time. Because remember, he was just knocking her out and then saying good morning, and we're supposed to believe that it was a new day when we have no concrete proof if that's the case. I mean, the entire story with Anders and Hilo makes it all appear like they retreated, and as soon as they came back a few hours later, Kara's gone, and Kara's being told that she's been whisked away for a couple of days now, right. And that might not even be the case. There's a incongruity with time there, but I think why it feels different compared to other episodes is because there is a bit more of a drawn out pace deliberately, and this is also a big exposition dump type of episode. There's a lot of telling of other characters of what's going on with them, as opposed to a visual reveal of what's going on with them.
Yeah.
And so that kind of makes it, and this is a little bit out of the normal pattern of behavior for a show like Battlestar, especially this early in.
I noticed it. I felt it because it reminds me of watching ballet. When a woman needs to cross the floor, there's a particular movement that she uses to get across the floor looking elegantly. And in Battlestar Galactica, when they try and move the plot forward, they do this rapid fire where they're going through all of these scenes. And I felt more grounded, and now you have pointed out why. It's because we're returning to the hospital scene, not new scenes.
Yeah, and it's the same room. Like, I think it's 4 times we go back to that same room before we get outside into the hallway.
Yeah.
And then we're back to that room again, and then we're back to that room again, and she gets out, kills the guy, finds the frightening incubation, if it were, room. And then makes a run for it. And narratively speaking, when you do something like that, you sort of create the same type of prison mentality with your audience that the character is experiencing, because they're only seeing that same moment over and over again. And it reminds me back in the early days as a kid, there's an episode of Seinfeld where that's the Chinese restaurant. And it's, as a child, I was actually really annoyed with this episode because it's the same location. I felt trapped. But as I got older and you watch it, you actually pay more attention to what's going on between the characters, and you empathize with how they feel trapped in that spot, waiting for a table just so they can eat to go see, Plan 9 from outer space later. And that just comes to exploiting the narrative structure of locations and interactions with your setting. So this episode does that pretty well. I only have my own criticisms with the fact that it's very exposition heavy, and there's a couple of hand-fisted moments into it. But outside of that, I mean, it definitely creates the horror mood, and it definitely has that nice little closing reveal at the end. And they also play with it differently. They don't make it completely darkly lit as a typical horror film will. There's a lot of light in the visual style of this hospital, and what's going on there. So yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting take, but it's definitely it definitely sticks out like a sore thumb, but not painful like a sore thumb.
Yeah, it's bright and scary, like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and not, of course, not the book, but the film. There's so much light, and yet this word emerges, horror. And this is the first time that this team, this panelist of writers, has used that word, because in previous episodes we've actually used the word Halloween. And so I thought that it was very interesting that you hit the nail on the head, that there is a genuine horror type of feel here. So anyway, I thank you so much for that. I just wanted to say that I thought that this episode was great. I think that there is a real struggle in this writing to establish what the person who's watching feels about artificial life forms. And there is this, there are these political notes that we're meant to sing in our own minds and then make up our opinions thereafter. And I think that this episode really plays heavily on that. Here we've had Six pontificating about how, humans aren't really human at all, that we dehumanize one another, that we're incapable of love and art, and yet they would come up, the Cylons would come up with this dastardly plan, that this house of horrors where they are raping women. So, oh, thank you, Parrot Head. You're so kind. Yeah, so for me, absolutely, I feel that this nagging question: what do we do with these robots? Are they worth loving? Do they have a point in saying that we're not really human, we're not really good, we're not capable of love, we're just as bad as them? And then we return to this idea of, if they had their way, they would farm us out and they would exterminate the human race. And I think that episode this episode brought that home for me. And also, as I said earlier, I was struck by the fact that I was actually able to enjoy this episode, not thinking as a writer or an editor the whole time, but actually being able to be in the text and enjoy it.
Nice.
SD?
Oh no, it's Bear's turn.
Oh, is it Bear? Oh, I thought we were going to go the other way. Okay, Bear.
Well, other than that, that really horrific moment, the way it was handled, Starbucks' reaction to it was a very real moment, and yeah, I was horrified by it, and they had put so much realness into it that, I have a stepdaughter, and that no, overall, story wise, 8.5. 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of, the first time you saw the board, right?
Yeah.
It almost like a sci-fi horror in that way, because that was a pretty horrifying episode, or bad guys for that series. It gave me that feeling. It was the complete assimilation of a person, like a waking nightmare in a situation.
Because you could tell for her, it was the most nightmarish thing that she had to do for her friend.
Waking nightmare, horror, waking nightmare. All the nasty things that women say, these extreme women say on social media, you should come in and entertain the thoughts of these men on this panel. The way that the words these men use to describe women, and they do it so organically and sincerely, tells you everything they feel about women. Bravo, guys. I love you guys.
Her friend's name was Sushan.
Sushan, yeah.
Love you
Yeah,
too.
and then her telling her friend, "Take me out." That was heavy. That was really heavy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's yeah. Just like same kind of feeling you would get like with a soldier on the battlefield.
Yep.
Who is injured to make it, end it. Yeah. So, hail everyone. That was a great episode. Hail to Tom for showing up out of nowhere and turning it into Pegasus Actual After Dark.
Yeah. Oh, did we miss SD?
We did miss SD. I called upon him.
No, I basically said my stuff in between all of your guys' things. You
are you sure?
That's what I thought he meant.
Okay.
So what do you think of my Battlestar Galactica?
I think it's cool looking, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually a toy, or not a toy, but very ornate looking picture of I would say probably 20 inches long on a pedestal. And so what I did is I lassoed it out and I put a really cool space background it, and then I circle cut it and put some red rings. An existing thing pop. I'm like, that looks nice.
There you go. I like it. Cool.
Yeah, I like it too. When I switch up, you can also see the same thing. There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
So basically, I want to say again, thank you to the panel. Great show tonight. As always, you can find me on Twitter at Supreme Heretic. You can also read me on boundingintocomics.com, sickestofall.com. I am back writing. I should have some stories in the shoot tomorrow that'll go up on Bounding. And then over the weekend, long-awaited return of Sickest of All. I'm going to get some new content up there going for you guys. So, I'm looking forward to that. So thanks for everyone coming out tonight. And we'll go around and let everybody kind of know where they can be found. So starting with Stephen.
All right. I am author Stephen Walden. You can find me on my channel, author Stephen Walden, or on Twitter at Lodonis, Lodonis. My channel, I put up videos when I can. I've been a little busy lately, but I do have a show on 6:30 p.m. called Rogue 4 Plus Final. It starts off your Friend and Menace Tuesday night, Star Council just after, and the High Council after that. And also on Saturdays, Rogue Entertainment on my channel at 7 p.m. And come check us out and have some laughs. And we talk just about everything, every wide range of anything, social issues, entertainment issue on Tuesday. And on Saturday, we just have fun with entertainment, pop culture news.
All right, Raquel.
You can find me here. This is my home. I wouldn't be on YouTube if it weren't for this show, because this show is where I come at the end of the week, and I just feel so good about being here with the people in the chat and the people on this panel. I love everybody on this panel. You guys are just so cool. I want to thank everyone who came here tonight. Thank you so much for allowing us into your homes and into your pockets on your phone. And, it means a lot to us that you would come and listen to us froth and blather and just join in the joy of this fandom, because we all love Battlestar Galactica. I also appear on Orville Nation on a Power Women Wednesdays. But and that's it. And I'm trying to get a book together, folks. And with that, I'll turn it over to SD.
What? Oh, you can find me over at Bear Nerd Fun. Where I have the late edition. No, go ahead, Bear.
Oh yeah, that's right. You go the other way. Yeah, Bear, go.
Clockwise.
Okay. Let me see here. I was all right. You had me used to going with it. I was having everyone's link ready. You got me out of order there. Okay.
Don't have a senior moment, Bear.
I know Bear likes to go last. I know.
I'm used to things going a certain way, and then
I know. I tried for you, Bear. SD wasn't.
I'm ready to leap off the ramp on the bike, and someone throws a stick in the spoke, and I go rolling down the hill. And I can tell you, I've done that from experience, not with a spoke, just because I fell down the damn hill. And then I went and tried it again and landed successfully.
I was riding on a bike in the city, hit a storm grate that locked the front tire and flipped over the handlebars once.
Ow!
It was not fun.
Oh shit!
That was a big L.
Ouch!
Ow!
The whole bike kept turning and me, but the front wheel stopped.
That's almost the same as using the front brake only on a 10-speed. But I was lucky enough. There was a little bit of a hill right there, not a big one. Yes, I did. I went head over heels, and the bike landed on top of me. So, I think you got the worst out of that manhole cover deal. And I grew up in Hammond, Indiana, man, and you had to really watch out for manhole covers. They got left off a lot.
Oh, wow.
So plug your channel, Bear.
I thought I just did.
All right.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I think, yeah.
Subscribe to Bear Nerd Fun.
Yeah, hey, that was a pretty good Tom impersonation. Well, you can find me at Bear Nerd Fun, and you can find me on Saturdays, and the Four Horsemen and the Late Edition. And sometimes Steven's there, sometimes Final's there, sometimes Scotty is there. And have a great night without the chat. It wouldn't be fun without you. Hail to you. Good night.
And subscribe to
Squeaking.
That's my daughter's dog. I'm so sorry. He's got his toy. I'll go on mute.
Okay.
Sure it was. All right. Next.
Yeah, so I'm the Script Doctor. You can find me on YouTube at youtube.com/scriptdoctor and on Twitter at scriptdoctorphd. I stream with the awesome Drew Taylor over here at Supreme Heretics channel with the Pegasus Actual Podcast. I also have the honor of joining him over at Bounding Into Comics. And please subscribe to this channel. And if you're watching this on the replay, please leave a comment about your thoughts of this episode. We would love to read them.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, make sure you follow and support Script Doctor. He has great breakdowns of just about anything from movies, television, and you get it from an insider source because he's involved in the industry. He knows what goes into a production.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know my fair amount, and also like Robert Meyer Burnett also knows a lot, and there's some other people like guys over at Midnight's Edge know a decent amount too. I'll be getting back to content creating pretty soon. I'm just making sure all my scripts are all lined up in a row. And I'll be finishing off Batwoman and then doing some recommend stuff and some outline rewrites of some movies that did not perform well last year. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into those swing of things.
That'll be great. And we're looking forward to that content, SD. Man, I can't wait. So, make sure that you support the panel, guys. Give me some likes on the videos and if you find yourself unsubscribed from anybody, make sure that you resub because, YouTube is being sort of a jerk when it comes to that because their stuff is broken and we know it is. So, you have to take matters into your own hands. So just keep up on who you're subscribed to. And if you find yourself unsub, just resubscribe and you're good to go.
And don't forget about Steven's book.
Everybody, yeah, I was just, man, you were reading my mind. I got the link ready to
reading
go.
Your mind,
wow.
Yeah, please support the Phantom Menace volumes. Phantom Menace.
Yeah, it was ready to go.
Trade. Make sure while the Indiegogo is back open, you take advantage of that and buy a book from the creator himself, because it is a good book and it is a good chronicle of what happens within a fan movement. So, it is a fascinating read. So make sure you check it out. And
hey, George, how you doing?
thank you for everyone's participation in the chat. Random Brad Creates. I see my buddy, my esteemed friend, George Peter Gatsis is
George.
Hail.
great to see
Yasu
you.
Yoragaki, Yasu, Tikanis.
Yeah, great to see you, George. And I appreciate, of course, the stalwarts of the channel, Lady Mist, Parrot Head, Toxic Man Flu, our own Brian the Gravedigger, who had stopped in the chat and stayed for most of the stream.
Shout out to an outlaw brother. Hope you're doing good.
And also appreciate DJ Odyssey stopping by, and all the other folks that stopped in, like from Blue Eyed Scorpio to Mega Jetty to
Toxic Man Flu was great. Good to see him.
Parrot Hat, Lady Mist.
Movies. Yep. We had a ton of people in here tonight, so thank you guys for the support. We will see you next week with season 2, episode 6. So until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and let's just spread the love, man. So say we all.
So say we all.
All right. Good night, folks.
Mwah!
Good night.
Wash your hands. Wash your
Good night.
hands.
Good night. Good night.